Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own to make ourselves free men. Our great scholars, having passed through the colleges and universities, have thrown away the blessed record. Babylon did it. Assyria did it. France under Napoleon did it. Germany under Prince von Bismarck did it. England under America under George Washington did it. Africa with 400 million black people can do it. If you cannot do it, if you are not prepared to do it, then you will die. You race of cowards, you race of imbeciles, you race of good for nothing. If you cannot do what other men have done, what other nations have done, what other races have done, then you have better die.
Very, very pleasant morning to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome once again. We're coming to you live from the National Arena in Kingston. You're inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running Africa, and it's a holiday of atonement and the 19th anniversary of the Million Man March. Lots of buzz on this event from the National Arena, scheduled to kick off at around midday. But we're broadcasting live this segment of the Africa Forum until 10 o'clock from the National Arena. Still the vision of the program to reunite the African family for development. Our mission, of course, blazing new paths towards Africa's rendezvous with destiny, redefining agendas for change, being the change we want to see. Lots going to be happening here today, and as the morning progresses, you'll be hearing about the participants in the event that will be coming to you live from the National Arena. My co-host this morning is Mutabaruka, and you'll be hearing from him shortly. My name is Kabu Ma'at Keru. My producer on the ground this morning is Joy Morgan, and we've got a team on the ground this morning. I want to say thanks to the team that has gathered on the grounds of the National Arena. Ricardo Powell, Irvin Dwyer in the studio, Shane Clark, and we understand Cuban is there in the studio. Cuban, what are you doing in the studio at this time? Anyway, good morning to your engineer. Oh, he's there? Oh, Cuban, good morning to you, sir. Strange. All right, so a big team this morning as we broadcast, come to you live from the National Arena. You know, it was called a Holiday of Atonement in 1995. And I wasn't there in 1995, but I know quite a few persons who were there in 95, who left Jamaica, who went to Washington, D.C., who participated in the March on Washington. And they did this believing in the message of atonement. They took the pledge, and you know, we need a copy of that pledge because we need to go through that pledge. Part of that you'd have heard on the promos for this event, for the broadcast. You know, I strive to love my brother as I love myself. Well, that's part of an entire pledge, and we're going to be getting a copy of that pledge that was taken by the millions who gathered in Washington, D.C. in 1995. But I was there in Washington, D.C. in 2005? All right, well, in the 2000s, when we commemorated the March on Washington, and believe me, that was a beautiful event. And here we are again, remembering, and ensuring that we challenge and continue to challenge ourselves. So here we are at the National Arena on this Holy Day of Atonement. We're taking your tweets, we're taking your Facebook messages, we're taking your text messages as we broadcast live from the National Arena this morning. Let me welcome the family on the internet at IRIFM.net across the world. Thank you so much for joining us on this live broadcast this morning. Let me welcome the family on Twitter. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Kabu Maat Keru. And that's KABUMAATKHERU. And you can follow Mutabaruka on Twitter at Mutabaruka X. All right, on Facebook, I'm Kabuma at Keru Williams. Kabuma at Keru Williams. Post your messages and we'll be picking them up later. But just to welcome you to this space at this time, in this place. Let me also welcome our family on the 107s, 107.1, 107.2, 107.3, all the way to 107.9. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning as we continue to blaze new path towards Africa's rendezvous with destiny. We haven't seen a program of today's events yet, but as soon as we have that in our hands, we'll be giving you an idea as to what will be transpiring. One thing we know is that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan will be delivering the keynote address this afternoon, sometime after 2 o'clock. And we'll tell you more about what the day's events will involve as the morning progresses. We'll be joined later on this morning also by representatives of a nation of Islam right here on the set as we come to you live from the National Arena. Before we go any further, though, let us do this in the way that we do this as Africans in the tradition of Africa. Dr. Rahu Imhotep Kemet Ba will be pouring the libation, or is a libation prayer that will be happening right now. Dr. Rahu Imhotep Kemet Ba.
Matondo tatan Zambia mpungu tulendo. Enzituzo tatan Zambia mpungu tulendo. Yenge mwen kembel de tatan Zambia ba mpungu tulendo tulenveni. Zenina mono inkumbu. Yenge Matondo tatan Zambia mpungu tulendo zane simbi entonto. Matondo tatan Zambia mpungu tulendo zane simbi lowe. Yenge. Matondo tatan Zambia mpungu tulendo. Enzituzu tatan Zambia mpungu tulendo. Yenge mwen kembo batatan Zambia ba mpungu tulendo tulenvini. Zenina mono inkumbu. Yenge. Matondo tatan Zambia mpungu tulendo zabiminti. Zenina muntu. Yenge. Matondo tatan Zambia mpungu tulendo za bantu. Zenina muntu. Yenge. Matondo tatan Zambia mpungu tulendo za entonto. Zenina muntu. Yenge. Matondo tatan Zambia mpungu tulendo za mupepe. Zenina muntu. Yenge. Matondo tatan Zambia mpungu tulendo za maza. Zenina muntu. Yenge. Matondo tatan Zambia mpungu tulendo za bikulu. Zenina muntu. Matondo tatan Zambia mpungu tulendo za bakulu mwela Kongo. Yenge. Matondo tatan Zambia mpungu tulendo. Enzituzo tatan Zambia mpungu tulendo. Yenge mwen kembo batatan Zambia ba mpungu tulendo tulenveni. Zenina mono inkumbu. Yenge. Tuau inter. Tuau ank inter. Tuau medu inter. Interru interhu ur. Tuau ank inter. Tuau medu inter. Interru interhu ur. Tuau ank inter. Za medu inter. Tuau ank inter. I pet I sut inter. Tuau ank inter. Tuau medu inter. Interru. Interhu ur. Interhu ur. Yenge.
Thank you very much, Dua, Dr. Rahu Imhotep Kemet Ba, with that prayer. Kicking things off here at the National Arena. And interesting that the language that is used in that prayer, the language of the Kikongo, even as we observe kicking it off this week, October 19 to 25, Congo Week, breaking the silence. Lots happening even while we gather to remember the Holy Day of Atonement. The Congo Week is important, and as a matter of fact, even now, as we speak at this moment, women are being raped as part of the war in the Congo. Rape used as a weapon of war in the Congo. Vicious, brutal, cruel acts of atrocities happening in the Congo as we speak. So we stop for a moment to think of our sisters first in the DRC, and to think of our brothers in the DRC who are being used by a capitalist society to turn as weapons of war against their daughters, their mothers, their sisters, in the quest for blood diamonds, in the quest for minerals, in the quest for coltan. And we pause also to make an appeal, as we do every single year. For the longest while, we've been talking about breaking the silence on Congo. The world is talking about Ebola. And there's a lot of discussion about Ebola in Liberia and in Guinea and Sierra Leone. And there's a lot of discussion about how many people are dying from Ebola in these 3 West African countries. And while we think that that is a concern, we have 5 times, 6 times the number of Ebola deaths in all of West Africa, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, on a daily basis, as mercenaries, European countries, America included, carry a war for minerals, a war for resources to the DRC, to the people of the Congo. We must not be afraid to speak truth to power. And if we're going to start doing that today, let us look at what's unfolding and what continues to unfold in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. That is why we every year, because there seems to be no end to this, every year we stop for a week to bring this to the attention of the world, that the war continues in the DRC, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And so October 19 to 25, breaking the silence on the DRC. Mention the word DRC. Talk about the Congo this morning, wherever you are. Go and Google it. Find out about coltan. Inform yourselves so that you can make a change. It is very important for us to do that. So we're observing Congo Week, October 19 to 25, kicking that off today. We're here at the National Arena for the observation of a Holy Day of Atonement, commemorating the Million Man March. Also today is the birth date of one of our own unsung heroes on the ground here in Jamaica, and we speak of Peter Tosh. Shane, in the studio, Shane Clark, if you're ready, we're going to turn it to you. Give us a Peter Tosh. I don't know if you've got Equal Rights and Justice queued up. Don't know what you got queued up, Shane. But, all right, we're coming to you live from the National Arena, the Holy Day of Atonement. And once again, it's the 19th anniversary of the Million Man March. Things are going to be kicking off later on this afternoon inside of the National Arena this afternoon, as Minister Louis Farrakhan delivers the keynote address on this day, commemorating and remembering and highlighting, observing the Holy Day of Atonement, the 19th anniversary of the Million Man March. I want to say thanks to our sponsors, to Kingston Harridge and Wholesale, the people who get people together. We rent tables, chairs, portables, and sanitation. Kingston Harwich, 28 Waltham Park Road, 923-7301. Once again, the birth date of Peter Tosh will be joined later on here at the National Arena by members of the Peter Tosh's family. We understand that his son, Dave Tosh, will be joining us and with other members of the family here live on the grounds of the National Arena, so that we'll be having a conversation with them, looking ahead to next year, to the celebrations of Peter Tosh in February, but also looking at the man himself, Peter Tosh. So once again, lots happening here. Today, one, Congo Week being observed October 19 to 25. Secondly, the birth date of Peter Tosh, and of course today the International Day of Atonement, commemorating the 19th anniversary of the Million Man March. So today really is an important day in Jamaica and across the world. Well, also in the program, the two, while we look at the immediate global concerns that affect us nationally, also want to re-engage ourselves and re-engage the global community and the national community in a conversation of land ownership, in a conversation about the extent to which African people, to which Jamaican people are being denied of their land, and the reasoning behind all of this. So one of the issues we want to bring to the fore this morning, even as we talk about this Day of Atonement, is the issue of land. There is a petition that is out now that we want you to pay special attention to, and you can come to the desk here and sign that petition as you come in this morning. And that petition is appealing to Mrs. Portia Simpson Miller, to Dr. Omar Davies, to the government of Jamaica, not to give prime lands like the Roaring River watershed to China, as part of the Angola model. And we talk about this a lot, as part of the Angola model, what Jamaica is doing. And, you know, they make it sound as if this is their idea, because we hear people saying, oh, but this is what we signed off and this was our idea. It really is not their idea. And I don't care what any politician tells us this morning. It really is not their idea to engage in land for infrastructure, land for oil, land for roads, land for loan. It is not their idea. This is China's idea. It is a model developed by China that started with Angola many moons ago. And we want to make it very, very clear that when we hear persons like members of the opposition who were in parliament or in power when these deals were first brokered, saying, you know, but this is what we signed off on. We, when we were negotiating with China, one of the things we told them is that, you know, you're going to, we'll make lands available as part payment of the loans. That's not true. This is an Angolan model that China uses across the continent of Africa and has transferred to Jamaica. Did not originate with any leader here in Jamaica, with any politician here in Jamaica. We want to make that straight. So then, we see the Angola model on the ground here in Jamaica, and we are very frightened. We're frightened. We're not scared. We're frightened for our children. We keep saying, what are we going to tell our children about the future? We're asking that question again, because it is their future that is at stake. It is their future that we're playing with when we give away the land to the extent that we're doing right now. So the petition is here, and once again we say, when you come in, please sign the petition, which we will be delivering to the office of the Prime Minister. The petition which says, Madam Prime Minister, please don't even think about it, giving the watershed area to China. And we stop talking about, I mean, I want to say good morning, coming on about it, no. All right, my co-host is Mutabaruka. So the petition is here, and we're going to ask you to come in and sign that once you make your way to the table, to the IRFM table. You can't miss the IRFM tent. We're on the piazza. of the National Arena, all decorated nicely, and our table is covered with a green tablecloth with the IRFM logo all around that, so you can't miss that. All right, so that is, we have that issue dealing with. Then there's also the issue, as we said before, of the chikungunya. We're still talking about that because that is something that is on people's minds. That is something that everyone is talking about. Now, we said a few weeks ago, and Mutabaruka has been saying it, every chance we get, chikungunya is an interesting disease, you know, because it's an interesting virus. It is very, 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 very prevalent in Asia. As a matter of fact, the type of chikungunya that is now in Jamaica is the Asian one. All right, I don't care how I want to interpret that. But chikungunya is prevalent in Asia. It's prevalent, almost endemic it is, to China, and so on. So the question I have, Mr. Mutabaruka, is while we point fingers in the way we do, and we're not creating any panic, but while we point fingers in the way we do on Africa, and you know there is this care about Africa and Ebola and so on, and there should be concern about wherever this disease is coming from, we haven't stopped to look at the influx of persons who are coming in from China and what diseases might be endemic in China. And I'm putting that out there because we're not really afraid to say anything. What diseases might be endemic in China? We know that chikungunya is, and we know that there has been travel. And while we are saying that there must be a way to leverage China-Jamaica relations, we're not saying, you know, the Chinese should this and the Chinese should that. We're putting all the elements on the table so that we can have a conversation. So we have an influx of immigrants, hundreds of thousands of persons from China into Jamaica. Could it be possible that the chikungunya arrive with them, and how we don't hear anything about that? All right, so that's one thing. And the second thing, chikungunya is endemic to China. Simple. If we travel, when we travel, we get all kinds of vaccinations. What questions are being asked of, because we're having a new nation, we're creating a new nation here in Jamaica, which is a China nation. So what questions are being asked? How are the medical authorities and the public health authorities looking at existing diseases in China? And how are they ensuring that as persons come in, they are treated, vaccinated, or whatever it is? You know, we talk about vaccinations in many ways. But just as when we are traveling, you say to us that you must, you know, do this or you must do that because this disease is endemic there, or you might be carrying this disease into some place and the airplane is sprayed out. You know, sometimes you're traveling and you land in some so-called first world countries. As soon as you come off, them spray out the entire airplane and so on, because they know you're coming from a place with mosquitoes or whatever, so they disinfect. So I'm saying, what kind of public health actions are being activated regarding the influx of immigrants from China? I am asking that question and I refuse to take it back. Good morning, Mr. Mutabaruka.
Morning.
How are you, sir?
I am totally okay.
Yes, so am I.
No.
So am I. No.
Jackie said, you sound like you missed me so much by the first part of the program that you sound lower. But I guess it's going to get higher now.
We were trying to work our thing out. Working our thing out.
Yeah.
All right, trying to work with the system as it is. All right, so Muta, you know, interesting day, Holy Day of Atonement.
Yeah, and it kind of, I mean, it feel not weird, but strange. We sit down and I look over upon Beverly Hills from here. You know, it's the first we really come in at Kingston together, come do an outside broadcast. But the Sunday morning, I look quiet and really subdued. So, you know that by, you know, the sun come up and people go to church and all them things we pick up.
As a matter of fact, we came into Kingston last night and the vibe that we saw and felt across Kingston, just running into members of the Nation of Islam was something else, you know.
Yeah, Jackie said she passed through Kingston and this Nation of Islam.
That's true, and because you can identify.
Yeah, you can identify them.
Because of the mode of dress. But I mean, I tell you, hundreds of persons. The hotel where we stayed, the lobby was packed. Right throughout the night. People
so
coming in.
So never get no hotel?
Well, because you're in Kingston.
No, me in Kingston. Why take me come here so late? Me in Kingston.
Which part of there?
Wait there. a junction me reach, I remember say I have something for coming up. Where you take me there? You think I kids so believe? I don't kids so believe. They don't know that already.
But you live just on the fringes.
Which fringe?
We don't almost stay with you. Look here, we almost come stay with you last night.
If you stay with me, you wouldn't reach here.
No, you wouldn't go junction.
Eh? No, me never remember say a Kingston me a go.
So where were you going?
Junction. No, OG. Back at Alzheimer's. I threw you to the Kingston thing.
So you actually got which junction? I'm sure you had to have, I believe you at junction you reach.
Eh? No, I reach almost support barrier, and then Joy called me and said, "Boot, I reach." I said, "What?"
Alright.
No, but
we out talking about the hotel.
We hear Farrakhan say it's like 2,000 ones, and I mean, if 2,000 ones there,
it look like more than that.
It's enough ones. I think them say the arena was 10,000 people.
I think 2,000 people there at the hotel where me stay.
Eh?
Yeah. It looked that way.
And then have the temperature check business.
Well, interestingly, I saw,
No.
You know who I saw in the lobby?
Oh. Ferguson.
Not so high, a little bit lower.
Eh?
Yes, again, a little bit lower than Ferguson.
Lower than Ferguson.
Yeah, a little bit below Ferguson.
The Prime Minister?
A little bit below that. Little bit below that. The Prime Minister above.
Big give up.
Dr. Marion Bullock, the cause, well, I see her in the lobby, man.
No, the same thing on the interview.
No, you interviewed her?
Yeah, but no, we didn't interview her.
The acting chief medical officer.
Yeah, we interview her, man.
Yes.
With the weight name there, the temperature gauge. She never had a temperature gauge.
I don't know if she had a temperature gauge.
No, the Prime Minister also. I tell Jackie last night, said we should have donated some. The Prime Minister husband donated
too.
Some of them, But I guess you can't get them in America, like maybe CVS or Walmart and all them places. But it's that them are used now in America.
Yeah.
Them just hold it in front of your forehead and check your temperature.
Yeah.
So you never check nobody's temperature in the hotel.
I don't know. I saw her in the hotel. She never checked mine.
You know the weirdest thing about Jamaican people, because we hear some people are comment about the influx of the black Muslims them in Jamaica, and why them kind of get scared. We hear my brethren ask somebody said, so what them are going to do about the tourists when the tourism start, or if them are going to postpone the tourists, them are going to postpone the tourists in the season, because you have a whole heap of tourists are coming out of the country.
And this is the tourist season, and the tourist season runs from now till about March.
April, yeah. It's a scare tactic still for we as black people.
Well, the question really is, with all the members of the Nation of Islam, 2,000 and more who have come in from the United States and all over the world, then never know such a chicken gonna there.
But them have a big concert on a movie last week, man.
Who that?
Soul in the Sun.
Yeah, but
nobody ever cancel.
Right, and the question I ask is that the members of the Nation of Islam, I hope nobody no catch chicken gun here. Because it is here. You can ask the question 15 different ways. I mean, we have what these diseases have done, which have been unleashed on us, is that we are suspicious of each other. Yeah. We're afraid of each other. If me hear everybody say they not shake hand, I'll mean that category too. Just bless.
No, everybody don't want to shake hand for a long time.
Right, so it's bless and move on because it's precaution, right?
But I tell somebody from Jamaica, you have some youth, have a way of shake hand and take them thumb and a rubber off your next thumb. I tell you about. That do not get it out. A rubber off thumb, nothing.
It's not shake hand.
No, me not shake hand. I mean, a rubber off no thumb. Because someone will have fire and a rubber off your thumb like. That's why that's all. You understand? Me not the fisting now. Or the wireless.
No,
wireless may work with that.
Wi-Fi.
Wireless may work with that.
Yeah, but it's good to say this publicly that if we don't shake hands, you understand, and you don't want to shake our hands either, So it's just blessed. We just all put the clasp our hands up our chest and say bless and not.
I'll never say wireless. That's how I'm going to say wireless. Because that didn't go out for a long time. We're just going to implement it now. Wireless.
So Muta, you look like the sun rising up in Beverly Hills, man.
No, Beverly Hills over there, so
Warwick, so it's
Beverly Hills over there.
You know, some used to live over there, so Muta. Over right up there, so.
Before
right
Beverly's. How the rest of them used today, no?
No. I used to live right there, so when we just left school and I work at Kingston.
But we're not going to sit down, so we are going to...
No, we can't.
No suntan, you know.
No, me know what. You just have
to move that tent, yeah. We'll move the tent and leave you.
You just pick it up, leave you.
Yeah, but we'll get forward to this thing, you know, because some things happen even over the course of this thing I go on, where we see them export back the virgin from Trinidad. Abubakar. Them say them export him say him that I come with invitation of Farrakhan to dysfunction also go visit him daughter. I'm daughter, right?
Said daughter at UA, yes.
Yeah, all right. This man has been implicated in trying to overthrow the government of Trinidad.
Yeah, Robinson.
Because according to him feels the government of Trinidad was corrupt. It's a corrupt government and it was not working in the interests of the people.
Right.
So him decides he's going to take some physical action against that. How much people in Jamaica don't think like him about our government, but is scared stiff to carry out and implement a physical action against this government, because it's the same thinking that drive this man to rise up against the government in Trinidad physically. And we can look on it and see and say it's a Muslim, so it's terrorism. But you know, one man terrorist is the next man hero. And when we look on how them look on it now and say not allowing him into the country, it's protecting Jamaican people from a ghost to me personally, because the man might have left Monday.
Well,
like most people. Yeah,
my thinking on it in a motor is that, and you raise the issue both on your program and in conversations that we have had, that this young man who went to Syria or wherever he was heading from Trinidad, who now bring brought Trinidad into the thinking of the United States government as being ISIS compromised.
Yes.
That the first person that would have been fingered in that would go Abu Bakr.
Yeah.
All right. That in mind, they would have already put in place travel restrictions on him without him knowing. And Jamaica, having signed on to the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative, would have, yes, because that is part of it. There's a war on terror that is included in the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative. The same thing with the memorandum, the MOUs that were signed that people don't know about. So if you read the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative, we are obligated as a country, Jamaica as a country, not we, obligated to fall in line with the United States on issues like these. So my thinking, without apology, that this is a directive from the United States government for the return or the deportation of this man because of the so-called war on terror. I also think that $4 million come from the coffers of the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative. It's millions of dollars that were earmarked. And you remember when the security ministers met in Trinidad, you remember when they met in Trinidad? It was about 5 years ago?
Yeah.
If not less, and they had 2 meetings in Trinidad. And if you had read the documents coming out of those meetings, all the Caribbean countries had signed on to working for the United States government on matters like these. Not only that, Hillary Clinton had gone back to Congress to ask for additional funding to assist the Caribbean nations to be able to back America and stuff like this. So this $4 million, I don't know it coming from the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative. Prove me wrong on that.
You know, the first time Farrakhan come here in this place, arena, I was here, and there was a reluctance in Jamaica to accept Farrakhan inside of Jamaica.
Right.
I don't know if
he was banned in the UK. Probably still banned in the UK.
What's your name? Winnie Mandela is banned in Canada. She can't go to Canada.
She's still banned in Canada?
I think so. I mean, I don't think them lift that. Them lift the terrorist thing because, you know, it's up to, it's in the 2000, them say the ANC members, including Mandela, was not a terrorist. You know. Exactly. Can you believe that, you know? This man who is looked upon like Jesus Christ is in the 2000 or so, America lift up the sanction of him, say, them is not a terrorist organization and him is not terrorist. But Winnie Mandela is one of them lady where them still hold her as a terrorist because of the alleged action where them say she take in this, what them call the rubber tire, you know, burning a necklace business. All right. So I don't know if them would have tell you say Winnie Mandela must come here. Them not going to do that.
To Jamaica, well, no, but remember she's been.
Yeah, she's been to Jamaica already, just like Nelson Mandela too. But when they come here, they must see as terrorists, you know.
Right.
In the 90s, when they come here, they must see as terrorists.
Still on the books as terrorists.
It's in the 2000s, so them see them as terrorists. Now, why I say that is this brother, you know. This
Abu
brother,
Bakr.
This Abu Bakr brother, you know. I mean, what kind of threat him could have posed?
You know, there are some questions that must be asked, and let us ask them. But there also there is a panic that is being, just like what I said, don't spread panic on the social media about Ebola. There is a panic that is being spread about particular individuals, especially individuals who are in the eyes of a lot of their own people, freedom fighters. But if they're not fighting on the side of the United States, then they're terrorists. And that is something that we have to bear in mind when we even begin to critically analyze some of what's happening around us. Then this idea of ISIS is an interesting idea. We could go into conversations on that, but I don't think this is the time for it. Yeah. And ISIS as opposed to ISIL and so on, and why, you know, the S must remain and nobody not talking about, you know, the L. It is an interesting situation, Muta, but I know that here in Jamaica, that everybody up in arms about that.
Scared of everything now. Hey.
We're afraid of each other.
Look at, may I tell you something now? And this is very important something now. We have to study the development of the Black Plague 700 years ago in Europe and what it did to the Europeans, against Europeans. Because the bubonic plague was just like the Ebola. Yes. But on a more bigger level, because I think them say it's 15 million people it killed in 2 years. In England alone, half of the population get wiped out. But what I say that is, it did come from China. People don't realize that the bubonic plague come from the Mongols, come up, and through the war, them that have them come up. But when you really check the action and the reaction of this plague in Europe with the people them, we see that just a small version of that go for happen down a month ago the other day when people here say, you know, people don't tell you this, you have hotel in a sentence start to clear out people, you know.
Yes.
You don't know that?
No, yes, but that's the thing I'm saying, that there's a panic that is being created that, I think those who are cautioning against the panic are right. But I think that we must caution against the panic for everything. I mean, the panic that came with Abu Bakr, we must caution against that. And the panic that we're seeing with Ebola and chikungunya and whatever else disease, we must caution against that. That is not to say that people must not take precautionary measures, that you must not understand what is happening around you. But calm down, step back a little bit, and understand what's happening.
I'm going to tell you something. You see, when you're ignorant and you're not educated, it's very hard to step back.
Make we step back to a break.
Ignorance
is not bliss.
It's a criteria to panic.
And it's also a criteria for oppression.
Because what it's that when you get the people them in a state of panic, you know, them it's like rat
turn against each other,
Them
which is what we
turn
see.
against each other.
Which is what we see happening, and some of the narrative that we hear around even the members of the Nation of Islam who are coming into Jamaica, and that is why I'm.
Then you know you're the
I hear it.
man.
Yes, I hear it. But this is why I'm flipping the thing to ask the members of the Nation of Islam who have come into Jamaica in droves. African, we're coming to you live from the National Arena. It is on the occasion of the Holy Day of Atonement, remembering the Million Man March of 1995 in Washington, D.C. Muta, did you go to D.C. in 95?
No, I was doing your program. Oh, 95.
Yeah, you did
I was doing your program.
No, it was.
Yeah, man, when you're the guy and watch it, tell me that day your program.
But we never go to the marches. It was the other. Was it
one at a time. Anytime you go and watch it, you read it at your program. No, I wasn't in Washington.
No, I know.
I saw it.
I know. Ibo
live
Cooper.
on Color TV.
Ibo Cooper was there. That is the year that Ibo went in on.
Oh no, I wasn't there.
Okay. But we know lots of persons left from here. But I was there. When was it? What year was it? 90 who? We were in Washington D.C. And this, I'm telling you, that was really something. I mean, hundreds of thousands of persons. But I wasn't at the march on Washington itself, which is it's 19 years.
Yeah. Until then, Peter Tosh Earth there too.
Yes.
I want to hear about it.
Well, I've been talking about it.
No, I mean, no, when you don't say.
Oh, you mean outside of us talking about it?
Yeah, nobody has talk about Peter.
Yeah.
Well, what to the family? What to them not keep nothing again?
Well, normally on the birthday, it's not normally
keep something last year down there.
Yes, I know, but that was the estate. That was the estate along with the Cooper. No. And you say one to the family, but I'm telling you, the family and the estate not necessarily the same thing, you know.
Oh, yeah?
No, not really.
You mean it's like Warwick Isle to Beverly Hills?
Possibly.
I
don't have enough information, but the estate at the time, along with Kingsley Cooper.
Oh, let them keep the
They arranged that in last year.
So I'm to where my boy name again? Warrell King.
Warrell King now is the one who actually ensured that we had a celebration every year. But remember, that stopped a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I know he was part of last year. He might have been involved in it, but I don't know the extent.
I understand that, Rasta.
I don't know. I cannot speak. I don't know. I can't speak for Warrell, but I think he might have been involved at some level.
You know, say if me gone and them keep celebration and my daughter them and 1 year them not keep it, me I come back command them.
I'm going to write that down, John.
Yeah, I'm going to write them, Rasta.
I remember we count ourselves among the daughters.
Never frighten them.
Look here, we number ourselves among the daughters. We're Joy right it down.
Joy too, you know.
See there? See Joy right it down there?
Joy supposed to know, say, every year I'm supposed to keep something from Mutabaruka.
You're too morbid, savage.
Well, morbid. No, man, no morbid. At all. I mean, if we don't come with us.
We're going to start this year. This thing for you today is for you.
Me make Joy climb up on the pole up an area and jump off.
This thing today is for you, Muta.
What is?
Yeah, for you.
My birthday?
Yeah, man.
No, man.
So you're asking about Peter Tosh. So we're expecting in a little while Dave Tosh and other members of the family to come in as we remember Peter Tosh. But also, Muta was saying earlier, it is Congo Week.
Yes,
October 19,
you know, there's some terrible things are going on at the Congo there where we're not highlight and hear about, you know, I mean, it's ironical, you know, I mean, we hear, I don't know if she's from the Congo, but I don't talk about death.
Yeah.
Since it's a morbid. But, you know, it's an earthquake, lick 80.
Yes.
300,000 people dead.
Mm-hmm. Or more.
Yeah. You know, say, Jackie has shown me something where the Asian them is far ahead of them preparation for the Ebola than Jamaica.
As a result? Or you're saying that?
No, just them have the machine and the equipment them where them buy. I mean, like, how
yes.
them afford to do that?
No, but remember that after the earthquake, there was a cholera outbreak. A cholera? It was a cholera outbreak in Haiti. And so that even though Haiti is not necessarily, I mean, we hear you use the word prepared, but use it in context as more prepared than even so-called other Caribbean countries that are not doing as bad as Haiti. But that as a result of that outbreak, the so-called charities
did do that already.
Because Muta, Haiti is supposed to be much further ahead, you know, considering the amount of money that has been pumped into Haiti that charities have pocketed for themselves. How much money from the Red Cross? How much money that was donated to the Red Cross for development in Haiti?
you know, it's a whole heap of development are going down there, though.
You know, Roger Hasfall is there this morning, and we're going to be yes, we're going to be linking with him. He's in Haiti.
I hope not kind of chicken going to go around and feed the people.
That is yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, because we have to what? You know something. All right, this. As morbid, can I get morbid?
Stop please do the word.
No, but I get the morbid thing. Look at it.
Yeah.
Picture this. Disease in Jamaica. Everybody gets scared. America said them not allow no Jamaican to come to them borders. You know, so what I forgot to take where you did. But where would I do?
Dominican Republic.
No, think about it. Think about it. Liberians know, every country now, a sanction against Liberia. That means the Liberians is refused in every airport right now.
Yes.
Picture the scenario now that we have a disease down here, so, and them say, no Jamaican is allowed into America. Dog, Nyamwe, and we supper.
And not just America, because look at the response. There are many Caribbean countries who have blocked Liberia, Guinea, so that, or including Jamaica, so that, you know, if something like that happens with Jamaica, you're going to find other Caribbean countries locking their doors. And the point you make is, I think, is very important, because you might find that it's Haiti and Cuba alone who don't lock them doors. No, me don't mind them lock the door, given what we know about this thing, but me just think of the worst case vibes just on nowhere. Here we are. Hey, Ebola never reach Jamaica, you know. Why not? No, sir. But what is Ebola? We need to. We know what it is defined as, but you know. Let me tell you something. Stefan Lanka, it's not going to reach here. You know why? Why? Morbid as my mind is. Why you keep talking about morbidity? Are you sure? Morbid as my mind is. Jamaican people going to eat one another. And all that reach us so. Me I tell you. When we say eat it like rat, me I talk about, you know, like the rat that we don't have Wilkinson, you know. Why? Because the panic what Jamaica have is nothing compared to where America and all the other countries are. Believe you me, man. Jamaica, hey, watch out. You see, I can't know, we don't want to shake one another and we don't reach nowhere yet. We don't reach one another yet, now we are talking about no shake and all them something there. You cannot imagine. Just imagine it in your morbid thinking that this thing I reach out so. Everybody are your enemy. May I tell you? No. I don't disagree with that. That's the point. IRFM. No, but that's because Jaya gonna look like how she looks so. But that is the point. Yes, this is exactly the response. But remember that is a response. No, you are not too far from that response. No, where people and you must have heard where people are not going into certain areas and you can't stop them. The panic is everywhere. Where hotel workers are threatening not to turn up for work. Looking at, and the panic is fueled by media coverage because people are tapped into and tuned into CNN who report on this thing ad nauseum. So that yes, there is panic, but so in a sense, you can't even blame people for the panic because of the response of authorities or the lack of response of people who are supposed to know better. Because of what we see happening with healthcare workers, for example. Look at this hospital in Texas where the nurses are threatening to strike and walk off the job. The sister who get it the other day is alive and well in her bed talking and having fun. I don't know if you saw the videos with her having real fun. It's like she want to have a party. We should have a party. You never hear her? I never hear the party. This is the lady who have Ebola in America, you know. The last one, you know. She had talked about we should have a party there, man. You know what I mean? But there's a young lady in Liberia who has managed to she took care using just a scandal bag. You saw that, just a scandal bag. And treat her family. She make her own hazmat suit. Scandal bag. Treat her family. Last one out of a lot, but she managed to care for them and bring them back to health with whatever assistance. But I ain't just a scandal bag suit so out of a lot, but she managed to care for them and bring them back to health with whatever assistance. But I ain't just a scandal bag suit, so it tells you not only that. Liberia, Guinea, Sierra Leone are millions of people. And you're looking at a death rate of 3,400. All right. The WHO, which just failed miserably, they call that themselves. The CDC, which has failed miserably. they say that themselves. They are the ones who are predicting that this thing is going to spread in such a way that it's going to devastate the continent of Africa.
Them say 70,000 are going to take before Peter, though.
But that is a prediction, and the thing, and them can't predict nothing for me. I don't care, and if it happens, then them do it. But Nigeria has managed to quell it. Senegal don't have any after having about 4. Right.
When I was there, it was there.
I heard you interviewing a doctor from Ghana. There is none in Ghana, which is bordering this country. So the question is, how are these African countries with millions of people managing to stem the virus? This is the question now, because if you have millions of people and it's only 1,000 persons in your country have it, it means that you are doing something to stop it from spreading further.
And not only that, Joy make a very important statement that I did to me, and I did say it. How is it that the man who died in America, none of his family up to now is not tested positive for it? When him did all that sleep with him girlfriend.
And the 2 nephews in the room.
None of them is not tested yet.
Who were caring for him?
Them, you know.
Yes, they quarantined them.
And 100 other people.
And they were in the house. Remember, they were there with him while they were in the most infective stages. And we haven't heard anything.
And the brother said them burn the body before them even get an autopsy upon the body.
That's right.
So, you know, I mean, anyway, that is a morbid part of the program.
Yeah, it is, but and highly relevant.
Yeah.
So, and the conversation continues. We have to think critically when it comes to diseases, because there's a politics that surround disease.
Of course.
And the politics of disease is what we need to look at. The extent to which there is money making from vaccines, the extent to which, you know, you capture people, and, you know, what I find very interesting is that, okay, so China take over Africa, all right? We could just say that simply and move on. Control the resources all over using the Angola model. The U.S., see this happening, went on a massive tour. This is the first time Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, George Bush Sr. and Jr., and, you know, Democrats and Republicans, they met and made up on the continent of Africa to beat China. Okay, after they did that, the African countries still look at them and say, listen, we'll go to China because the interest rate is lower, and not only that, China developed more than what you guys have been doing for years. They left there, China claimed more of Africa. They called a summit in the United States, Summit of African Leaders. So all African leaders, and then some, converged on the United States, met at the White House with Barack Obama. By the way, at the same time, China was holding a semi-summit with African leaders, because they never ever pay for them to come in. So what China did was just to say, listen, while you're not there, meet me around this, after don't meet up this. So basically, that happened in the U.S. Now, about 3 days, when the African governments met with the U.S., they said, what they put out was that, listen, we still not going to ditch China. China we are deal with, and if people, even Zimbabwe sign a multi-billion-dollar deal, Zambia, Rwanda, South Africa. I mean, they left from the U.S. and go sign multi-billion-dollar deals 3 days after Ebola breakout in thing there in Africa. We're not joking.
Liberia, not Africa, Liberia.
Well, we are saying Africa because what is happening? Why? Yeah, because the intent is for it to spread. The first person who came out and talked said we're not leaving, you know. You realize it was China?
Yeah.
When the Ebola virus started spreading across them countries in West Africa, China was the first country to put out a release showing all of them doctors and them hazmat suits saying, we are not going anywhere. There's a reason for that, because Ebola is part of a politics of disease, and Ebola is part of the Cold War between China and the US.
It's a very integral part of how the world are run now politically. And when them having a panic, you don't decipher the intent of the situation, because we don't see it as a fear factor, and everybody know, you know, go against each other. You know, like right now here, man out in Naga, Africa. I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing. You know, we are interviewing a Ghanaian doctor the other day, and it's pure laughing in the pan. I can't believe something like that. I go out of Jamaica where artists today now come to Ghana. You know? So when you look on the whole situation, this panic factor is one of the chief ways they use to manipulate and control the whole population. That is really what it is all about. Controlling the population by striking fear in you, where you now give up your rights for want and do certain things. Because
Yes.
the same thing happened to HIV. Remember HIV?
That's what I was saying.
Nobody want to touch nobody.
That's what I was saying when I mentioned Stefan Lanka, because Stefan Lanka had looked at the HIV, which is a German virologist, had looked at the HIV and said that this thing resembles old diseases.
Yes.
No, look at Ebola. What is the difference between Ebola and bubonic plague?
There's no
What is
difference.
the difference between
No difference.
Ebola and yellow fever? Well, we don't know the fever then, but there are a lot of old diseases that if it comes up, you are going to say it is Ebola. No, it's the same thing. No, we're not talking about the EV. Well, not we. Them not talking about the EV D68, which is the enterovirus D68, which is wiping out children in the US, because that's what them said for Africa. We know so not so the same language we use. If we use a language that they use to describe what's happening on the continent of Africa, to describe what's happening in the US, you understand exactly the kind of panic that is being fueled.
Yes.
So EV D68 killed about 6 children already, hospitalized almost 800 by now, and is still spreading across the United States. We have deaths that we hear and see around us that resemble EVD68 that are being diagnosed.
But as you talk, my mind run by you, the newscast, a woman was saying that everybody around her have this chicken gonorrhea thing. And she go to the doctor with 2 ones. And them diagnose and them say it's not diabetes and it's not the chick V. And them send her back home because them never diagnose it. Them say, right now, if a man sneezes, he hears a chick V.
Right.
If him buck him to a chick V.
That's the question.
Yeah.
So the question
Somebody tell me say, a man dead the other day from chick V because him go beard. You know the way I say, all right. The lady is saying that she don't understand that the doctor tell her is not dengue and is not chick V. Then is what? Come back to where you are saying.
Which is
diagnosed with no other disease.
Because as we speak, we have the transfer of bodies, of people moving.
Yes.
There's travel happening, and there's a disease, there's a virus, enterovirus D68, which is highly contagious, highly infective, that has killed 6 in the US already, children, and has hospitalized close to 800. Now, if that is the case, we're so concerned that we have Ebola, that there's a panic right now in Mandeville, so that the Minister of Information have put out a release last night that, listen, there's no Ebola in Mandeville, and we're not concerned about something that's so close to us.
There's no Ebola in Jamaica.
There's no Ebola in Jamaica. That's the thing.
There's no Ebola in Jamaica.
And the panic is not around. The panic, is not around the tourists. The panic is around if I hear somebody from Nigeria come here, because the situation in Mandeville is like somebody from Nigeria. No, there's no Ebola in Nigeria.
I don't understand the problem though, because it look like the same Nigeria them left Mandeville and go and sit down.
Except the Nigeria.
Because they clear out the hotel because they wait to two Nigeria in the hotel.
So the problem we have is a distrust. What this is doing is playing upon the distrust of the inherent hatred of ourselves. When we say ourselves, we mean how African people say Africa, and how African people look at other African people. So that the white tourists coming in from Nigeria or Liberia or anywhere can't come through. But you say if you're black and say you come from Nigeria, you have Ebola. No, that is where the problem is.
But
Ebola has a color.
And everybody is skeptical about it. We don't understand that.
Ebola have a color, Muja. Ebola is black. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right. But we have things to talk about, and that's why we're talking about them, because this is a day of atonement, and we're atoning from every single level. That atonement is what it is. I don't know if you remember the pledge, Muta, if you, I think you might have carried it, I'm not sure, from the Million Man March, that pledge that was said at the end of the address by Minister Fark. And if we can get a copy, I think I can find it on the internet. But so it's atonement all around, and we have to talk about the issues that are affecting us one way or the other. And there is my friend at Irie in the newsroom, who is a Christian, says it's a plague that has come upon us, Natalie. So Natalie says it's a plague that has come upon us.
Which, you mean the bubonic plague?
Just a plague.
No, you see, when you start a plague, no, you're going in a church business.
That's what I'm saying, Natalie.
Yeah, because if you follow the history of the bubonic plague, you will realize that when the people them start to realize that this thing them say it's cursed, God cursing them. And this is serious thing now. Them say God have cursed them, and the only way to get rid of the plague is not to realize say rat and flea all over the place, you know. It's now to scourge Europe with all the disbelievers in Jesus.
Well,
so them start to say no. Some people now start to decide, say, what you know? You say anybody when not believe in the Christian religion, we're going to kill them. And that is what is happening in Europe. Them start to kill all Jew them.
Well, I don't know what we're going to look for. We look to know, but it's a warning because what you think is being preached in the churches this morning.
So it's plague?
But yes.
So it's cursed by the people them and the wickedness, and they must return to Jesus.
Yes. It is being viewed. It is being viewed as a plague.
It's happening in you. You see, we have to take sleep and mark that, you know, these things. If you don't know history, you can repeat it, you know. We feel that all of these things only happen in Africa, you know. When this bubonic plague was happening in Europe, there was no mention of Africa. You understand? And what we see in Europe is that when the people them turn to the church and realize that even the monk them in the monastery them that are dead, them say, but wait, oh, the monk them are dead. It's something worse. It's not the people them who believe in a Christ they cause the plague. It's because we allow people in the midst of us who don't believe in Christianity for them amongst us, so them wage a war against the people them who them feel say like all me as you know, I burn, you get burned at the stake in half a tree, you know. Yeah,
what happened?
I'm going to turn you upside down. I'm going to turn you upside down.
I rebuke you. I rebuke you.
In the
name of your son to us.
No, look at no, it's a serious thing.
I will not hang from your undergallant.
Jamaican people don't know that this thing happening in Europe, you know. The Black Plague was started in China. And the Sicilian them in a them boat and ship, because now it's plane that carry go across in America.
Yes.
But at that time it was ships that carry the rat them. And when them reaching at Sicily, it start to infest the place. And them realize the whole people are dead until it start to take over Europe. Them say 50 million people dead in 2 years, you know. But here we know, when the people them realize that them can't get rid of the plague, you know, them start to turn to Jesus. And when them start to turn to Jesus and turn to the Roman Catholic Church, it never did that help, because the people them who supposed to help them did that dead too. And them say, but this is a scourge for our nation. It's because of the wickedness where we're going with. Why God bring this plague power? It's the same thing that's happened this morning. You know. The wickedness of the people them cause this plague. So if we repent, we will be saved. And when them repent, them still see the thing are working. You know what them do? Them say, well, I'm Mutabaruka and Andrea Williams who don't believe in these things cause it, you know. So you know what we're going to burn them out. And them start to burn Jews, Muslims, everybody. Them start to burn who them believe and not believe in Jesus, and it still never work.
And you know, I know people are listening to this, and you know, it's Muta say it, you know, the Banana FM, so that they're
kill the messenger, man.
Yeah, so the bottom line to all of this, you know, Muta, is that if you follow this panic to the nth degree, and the distrust, if you talk to people, or you watch the news and you hear the vox pop, you listen to the radio and you hear what people are saying on the street, is it okay, did we do a wise thing, the government do a wise thing to close the border? Did you hear the responses from people? Yeah, man, lock them out, man. So after all the African them. Yes, so I'm saying that response is that we have not stopped. The question I asked when I hear, I said, you know, see one decent man there, I say, yeah, man, lock them out. And I say, so there's nobody no stop to say, well, give a thought to the countries that are going through through the plague, the countries that facing these diseases. We know that, you know, because we're facing some serious chikungunya. So what if it is another disease that comes in by travel the very same way? And this is why earlier I pointed to migration and immigration, and to ask, because things have changed the way they are changing, because we see that we're building a second nation in Jamaica, and we are building a second nation in Jamaica, and because we know we already have millions of immigrants into Africa, and we see that happening with the acquisition of land at Roaring River and the acquisition of Goat Island and so on. And that is not to spread hatred on any group. It's not xenophobia. It is what kind of public health issues do we have to consider in this level of influx of persons coming in from Asia?
The connection that we have, because I was reading a report of them said there's more Chinese tourists now.
Yes.
That come into Jamaica.
And to Africa.
I can't believe it.
No, I can't believe it.
How that possible?
But
we don't see them walking up and down on the street.
No, look here, you know what hit us? You don't see them walking up and down on the street. Are they really tourists? Or is it it's not the walk up and down, because China is not the walk up and down tourism that they practice.
Almost the Japanese walk up and down, because you have some Japanese who go down all a trench on all 2 o'clock a man. But Chinese people, no, wait till them no walk up and down.
No, I'm just saying it might be a different kind of tourist. They might be like ecotourism, or they might be interested in something different from what European tourists are interested in. So you probably won't see them walking up and down like that. Because they might be indifferent.
Like if them want send some money to somebody, them send Jamaican people with the money, and then the Jamaican people attack the Jamaican people and murder them. Because they're not supposed to send money.
You just can't be wide, you know.
And not even guardsmen. And not even them man them send with the money, like guardsmen and all them people.
Marksman.
I could have some marksman kill the people them. It's like the Chinese send some man with money, pay thing for 2 million, and some man set it up inside job. Out. There's no way you can just accidentally on a Sunday know say it's them 2 carry $2 million carry or kill them and take it away. Somebody said that.
But what about habit? Because you know people can watch people, and somebody knows. I mean, if it's
I'm just saying that.
So it not to be an insider situation.
Is that insider? No man, somebody. I mean, Andrea, look here. Trust me, man. Every robbery going on in Jamaica right now, including, because even inside job going in a parliament, you know. When you say them rob the people, them, it's an inside job. Everybody in a parliament knows them rob the people, them. Yes. You understand? So, these guys, the first thing, the man, them not supposed to have transport money, especially on a holy day like Sunday.
But that's why I talk to you about habit and routine. Because if you have a routine, that somebody might just accidentally say, you know what I mean? And say, yeah, man, I know Muta, man, you know, every Sunday, him go on, you know, Prairie Beach.
Yes, and him go mark you.
Right, and you get marked that way there.
Yeah, but without $2 million family now.
Right, so I'm saying the routine is that this is how people get paid.
Yes.
The routine is that, you know, say, it happened on a Sunday and it happened at you know, this is how it happened and this is the route. So people study the routine there.
Yeah.
And it might be, the information will come from inside, but the information might not have come deliberately. I mean, that's your side, I know.
That's a build up the scenario,
Right, so, you know, people, the routine thing is a hell of a thing.
No, but why we are saying that, you know, is the argument, is the reasoning that here is a group of people in Jamaica now that don't know the culture of Jamaica on a big level, and we don't know for them culture on a big level. So we think we did have a set of people in a parliament where they said supposed to expose certain things to the people then before them even come here. So you call it orientation. It's like when them say a whole heap of Chinese that get robbed downtown. The reason why them did not get robbed downtown, you know, is because the people them did not carry the money themselves. There's no other. Watch out, there's no other set of people that take money and not carry themselves.
Why you think
like the boss.
Why you think they know the culture of Jamaica?
Why them don't know the culture of Jamaica?
I'm saying that they do know the culture of Jamaica.
Them know the culture of Jamaica.
Yes. You ever go to a Chinese supermarket and hear bad word left, right, and center? No, I'm just saying not just a bad word, you know. Yes. I'm saying that the culture is well known and that is why the people are being exploited.
So why them send for some man with $2 million?
Then that's how them do them thing? What is outside of the culture of Jamaica?
Our culture not do that.
Oh, you mean our culture not do that?
No, man, our culture not do that, man.
Muta, that is not true.
Our culture, I pay people per son, send money per son if you go drive up and down.
But what is outside of the Jamaican culture with that?
Yeah, you know what? Jamaican people are going to say, oh, me, I'm mad, you want a man, come hold me up with the $2 million. I mean, now carry that.
Muta, what I'm saying to you now is that if somebody hold up somebody you don't know, You don't know, you know. If nothing happens, you don't know.
Yeah, me know.
So we don't know if the French, them never done do it before, and the Germans never do it before.
Jamaican, nah do that.
Well, me don't know about that.
Jamaican nah do that, Rasta.
Me don't know about that.
What?
But we'll disagree on that.
$500 to rat that him never walk on certain road.
Muta, is it the private sector?
Yeah.
Is it the private sector in Jamaica?
Yeah.
It is not the public sector.
Let me know.
And private sector, we do a private sector, though, especially when there's a certain mentality.
So what going to happen now with that situation? Because the man will get caught, but we don't know if this Sunday some more $2 million now move again from the China Harbour people them.
Anywhere.
Eh? Or not going to work out? What we going to do?
We don't know.
Eh? Because we are talking to the government and them want to kill the messenger, them all the while and all this. And
this is why, Muta, so this is what we say. When we say that Jamaica, that we know that it's almost like you can't stop the development. So you don't want to stop the development either.
Yeah.
But you want to look at the thing from many different angles.
Balance
in terms of how then when you're signing off selling the people, because that's what I mean. When you're selling the Jamaican people to China, like the authorities did sell African people to England and Spain and so on and put them on ship. When you're selling the Jamaican people to China, what kind of thinking go into the documents that you sign off on? Because this is the thing, is that these documents are signed off on the continent of Africa and in the Caribbean. It's just not Jamaica. Where is the leverage? What about the labor laws? You see, remember we're talking about this now. The labor issues should have been dealt with at the point of negotiation.
Yeah, from the lady went to China.
Yes, and before her, Mike Henry.
Yes, and try to get wheel for the Jeep.
What were the considerations for the labor laws? And I guarantee you that we said that and we are asked about payment on a Sunday. But I guarantee you, what about overtime pay? What about the work on the Sunday? What about minimum wage?
What about minimum wage them get?
No, I say, what about...
Yeah, we're not talking for that.
The labor law, because they violate these laws in Africa.
Yeah.
And if they violate these laws in Africa to the extent that they violate these laws, why you think they're not going to violate this? And the same principle.
And we more suck up to them than the African them.
Because yes.
We suck up to them because right now some African state make some demands that are frustrate the Chinese, them, especially upon the East Coast.
Yes, and they're making those demands now because them look on the thing and say, this thing I go away. So make with this win-win-win for China and win for win our work. Make us split it down to win-win for China and win for within. Since I know where I come with the money. But a 3 wins for China and 1 win, that you can't even call it a win. It dress up like a win, but it's really a fraud. Our next.
We are running with the back and feast of most parts, man. Remember I say, the rabbit did rest while him lose the race, Right now, the rabbit now rest. Him run straight up. The little turtle can go and crawl and feet. All right, say according to history, the rabbit supposed to rest out there, so I make him pass him. Pass him.
Look like the rabbit always about worrying me, but let's take a quick...
Magicor is.
It's going to be a day that's going to go all the way up to... evening time, probably 6, 7, 8 o'clock this evening, because we're here as part of the Day of Atonement, the 19th anniversary celebrations of the Million Man March. It was 2005 that you were sitting in for on the Running African program when I was in DC. But the Million Man March itself was in 1995 in DC. And, something interesting had happened with the Million Man March because over 1 million men and women turned out to that march. But the official number that the government gave out was like 400 or 200,000. And so when it was queried, an independent news organization, I think it was, looked at it again, tallied the numbers, and pointed to, the million.
Over a million.
Yeah.
Over a million.
And that's interesting. It reminds me of the Coral Gardens march and the March Against Police Violence that was broadcast live on Stepping Razor. That has not been reported on by the mainstream media in Jamaica up to this point. So it's an interesting situation, media blackout, media whiteout.
We don't want to live at this point either, but we could go back to the Chinese thing.
China, yeah. Roger, let's go to Roger first, because Roger is in Haiti.
Roger, they are Haiti?
Yeah, Concrete Asphalt, Mr. Roger Asphalt himself, live from Haiti. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, Kabu. I'm good, Mota. Good morning to you. Good morning to everyone on this day of atonement. Here in Jamaica, and of course, over here, paying homage to our Haitian ancestors for their role they play in liberating the region. You know?
All right, I know this is going to be interesting for a lot of people because we're listening to you two ways. They're listening to me talk and you on the speaker. So not quite sure we're going to work it. So Roger, because of the way it is going, we're live at the arena, and to facilitate the people who are at the arena hearing what you're saying, and for us not to have a confusion in me asking back the questions, we're going to ask you to just give us what you think would be interested in as a Pan-African yourself about what you have seen in Haiti so far, who you have spoken with, and also why you are there. But you know, you're coming in on the Africa Forum. I will not interrupt unless totally necessary, so that we can facilitate the people on the grounds hearing what you have to say. So first of all, tell us what Haiti looked like, your first impressions of Haiti, and going to what you think we'll be interested in here. Go ahead, Raj.
Okay, my first impression landing in Haiti.
Well, I see anything at work as well.
We are the same people. Skin color, African people. I mean, the language, of course, is French Creole. The Toussaint Overture Airport. Not as fancy as airport there in Jamaica. The entrance into the city, not as aesthetically as you would be in Jamaica when you approach. But nonetheless, people are quite warm. We got good reception on our way in to where we are staying. We still see the effects of that earthquake back in 2010. There's just like a main road that comes through the city. Most of the off-roads are not that good as that would have been the main road. In a place called Pétionville, it's one of the three main areas of Port-au-Prince, seen by the Royal Oasis. Beautiful sight from where I'm looking across right now onto a hill, and it's a city on a hill. Basically, it is like a dormitory city. Thousands upon thousands of skillfully knit houses along the hillside are quite a spectacle from where we are. People, as I said, quite pleasant. Nothing much to bad. Anything bad at all to say about Haitian people. Of course, we are here for the Caribbean Football Union R17 World Cup qualifier. Jamaica drawn in Group B. They will open their campaign against Martinique tomorrow, 6:30 Jamaica time. They next play on Wednesday against Guadeloupe, and also they close off the group stage against Cuba on Friday. If Jamaica makes it through, then they would play off in the final game on Sunday. Of course, the delegation will return on Tuesday. But since I've been here, we have not gone out as much as yet. We should be going out very shortly from now, where the team will be training and so on in preparation for tomorrow's game. And I'm certain that I'll get a more holistically view in terms of, you know, the whole Haitian society, Port-au-Prince in particular. And we're certainly looking forward to that, Kabu.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Roger. I know the people on the ground are still hearing you. But thank you, Roger. We have to wrap there because of the logistics on the ground here. But thank you so much, and looking forward to other reports from you later on.
We're calling on the Haitian government to test Roger.
For chicken gunner.
I'm coming from Jamaica.
Thank you. Thank you, Musa. We're good, man. We're good.
You're good.
You're good.
Jamaica have a way to spread people.
No, but we know, we had it before he left, and he had about 3 weeks before, you know, after it was declared. Okay. Well, Roger, don't pass on the chicken gun to the Haitians, all right? The Haitians.
No, definitely not. It look like they can't escape there because I've not heard anything about that.
You don't hear anything about chicken gun there? All right, okay. No. Thank you, Raj. Thank you. No, I'm saying I don't hear anything about it there.
First case of chicken gun, IRFM staff carried for that.
Roger, you have it one time, you know, I'm going to give it to anybody. Thank you so much, Roger Hasfall, who is there live in Haiti and linking with us there. What good. All right. We are going to be speaking with representatives of the Nation of Islam once again. We are commemorating and remembering the 19th anniversary of the Million Man March, the Day of Atonement. Muta, lots of responses on the social media regarding the China in Jamaica situation. And you know, I'm not quite sure who sent this, but in a little while, I think it might. All right, let me just look at it. But someone actually pointed out that there are signs, road signs in China that are in the Chinese characters first. And they sent a picture of it, so I'm going to show it to you. And then English after.
English after, yeah.
And so that's an interesting situation, isn't it?
Yeah, well, more people speak English in China than America.
Right, so why we have road signs in Jamaica with Chinese language pantapa, eh?
Them have road signs in Jamaica with Chinese.
No, that may tell you to share the picture.
I wish part of them at work, not really part of the road.
It's where like roads, closed and so on?
I work, man. I wish part of them at work.
So these are...
I don't like in a New Kingston.
Okay, so the picture here. Okay, so this is Paul Henriquez who sent this. Okay, so it says, if I wish I had them at work, it's a work in progress, drive.
Yeah, I wish part of them at work.
It's a work in progress, drive slow.
Yeah.
So why you say I wish part of them at work?
No, which part of them at work?
See the Chinese language up at top there first.
No, me not say no, because I tell you.
And then it's a work in progress, drive slow.
Yeah, that's a Jamaica, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what do I say? I wish part of them at work.
So, it's like a good
main
word.
Like in a New Kingston with them now at work.
Right, but it's an issue because you think you could have done that in France. You'd have to put full language and not even English. Yeah, any language we want to put there, if I Swahili now, what I say. But we have a problem in a Muta.
Yeah.
We have a problem because we can't even stand and defend the English, you know.
No.
You guys not our language either.
Yeah, that's why Rasta twist it and turn it around and people say we not no sense.
You see?
And they were ready to say anything. Like when we say chicken gonorrhea, can we refuse to say the African word because it's not an African disease.
It's an Asian disease.
So when me say chikungunya, me I give credence to it, say it's an African thing, and the more you keep repeating it, it's the more I come and say, well, it started in 1972 in East Africa, and there's no, what are them people, man?
But Muta, have you thought about it though, that diseases that they want us to believe originate in Africa, they don't translate into no other language.
No.
You know, so almost every word, love, for example, you know, amore, you know.
Yeah, you know, another word where you can't say.
Yeah, you know, you said chicken gunya in Chinese.
Bend back.
Chicken gunya. You know, that's the thing I'm saying.
The first part it's so Chinese to me.
No, but it's interesting that, you know, stuff like these diseases that appear, that they want us to believe originate from the continent of Africa cannot be translated into another language.
Like Ebola.
Or you say it in Spanish.
What? Ebola?
Chicken Ebola.
Me don't know. Me don't know, you know. Believe you me don't know. Where the word dengue come from?
G-U-E, sound kind of French.
Me know them have one of a German name in them say they are East Africa. They call it Marburg.
Oh, Marburg. But it's Ebola.
That's like a German.
But it's Ebola. That's the thing, you know. Yes.
Oh, Ebola too.
It is the same strain as Ebola. It was named before Ebola.
Oh.
But you can't say Marburg because you said it come from Germany. So you have to say Ebola. You have to say it come from Lake Ebola.
No, but them say now Uganda now them call it the German name.
It Marburg.
Marburg, yeah.
Marburg,
it sounds like a cigarette, don't it?
Yes, well, one doctor right here, and I wonder if you can tell us about the Marburg. Doctor, you
know anything about it?
But Dr. Who he might have come out, Bob.
He might take your children. What I tell you about it, yeah, Marburg.
We don't know
it sounds like Marlboro.
No, stop it.
Cigarette. Marlboro. No, wait, the whole of this, you know, you have to come to the name. That me show you the name of psychological, you know.
Because the people, can you imagine my mother in Marlboro now? I want to say good morning to my mother in Marlboro. Right?
The way you think Portland come from.
There you go.
The name Portland.
Go ahead.
Marburg.
Yeah.
Yeah, really and truly is a name of a virus similar to it's beginning to the same class of viruses as Ebola, the filoviruses.
Yeah.
So Marburg, you find from in the early 70s, the Germans, they had actually had some monkeys that they carried there from Africa. There being a lot of experimentation with the African monkeys. Somewhere in the midst, some of them got infected, and so this was named for the Marburg, which is a town in the region where they are trying out these experiments. But it's the same strain, the filoviruses, that Ebola belongs to. And the symptoms are very similar.
But doctor, you ever check say the bubonic plague have the same symptoms to like the Ebola? Yes,
a lot of the symptoms when it comes to gastroenteritis, fever,
and the
swelling of the
nose. That's why they call it black plague. It have a black swelling by your finger, them and all them some there.
Yeah, so given that, the symptoms is so common for many other diseases, that is why it is, you have to have a lot of assessment and differential diagnosis before you can only say it's a suspected case of these things until proven. Yeah, because
we kind of don't prove it already still. But say we should have a war on rats in Jamaica.
Yes.
Because we are going like, so we don't want to go like America. War on drugs, war on terror, all kind of war them have, and all the time them get war to develop more. But in Jamaica, you ever go and you know New Kingston there?
I think I don't stay right now.
No, look here. You say I'll New Kingston when you go down there in the night. Come here pass there. Sometime, all of the day, I go to our insurance company. I see a rat run past me, I say, but wait, them rat, him look like him can't go pay him car insurance too. If you go there at night, you see rat away pan JUTC bus, Believe you me, you never see a place with so much rat in your life. You think the New York did have rat rasta, but war and rat, we're supposed to have a war and rat because it's the rat can spread the same.
Yes. And the leptospirosis is very similar to the chikungunya.
Yes.
And rats are leptospirosis.
No, we need to understand. It's so much thing. But
it's a lot to talk about. This is we're in Kingston at the National Arena, and you can't expect more than that when we are coming from an event that is about to kick off shortly. That is a Day of Atonement that is commemorating the 19th anniversary of the Million Man March, organized by Minister Louis Farrakhan. So we will be broadcasting for the duration of the Africa Forum, but even after we have closed off the Africa Forum, that is when activities are just going to be kicking up into high gear here at the National Arena. We're joined now, the sun has come up like really seriously, so we're joined for Brothers of a Nation of Islam, but I am standing and you don't mind, and not sitting down in no sun, Muta. Oh, thank you.
No, the sun will go overhead. You have to say, watch out. According to the Europeans, the sun move. So right, let her move overhead.
Okay, so brothers Hugh Mohammed and Clive Mohammed have joined us on the set. Wow, my brothers, good morning.
Good morning.
Have you slept?
Yes, a little bit.
Just a little bit.
It's in your eyes, so you don't sleep. Don't tell a lie.
You see this brother Clive Mohammed, me see him all night last night.
No, I'm walking around.
I mean, he's been very, very busy.
It's in your eyes.
You've been working. Brother Clive Mohammed.
Yes.
Well, no, do some talking.
Yes.
All right, so this is a brilliant day for a Day of Atonement. Nice weather and everything. Last night we were here, and I hope you don't mind that we were tweeting the venue and tweeting the chairs and just tweeting the stage.
Everything.
So we're out ahead of you.
Yes.
By the way, so tell us how do you feel about lots of work leading up to this, over years work of preparation. The moment is about to happen. What are your feelings and where we are?
Oh, I'm excited. Sister Kabu, Brother Muta, knowing that this event have actually come home to the Caribbean. This is wonderful. This is tremendous. This is more than what we expected. As a matter of fact, we never thought of this. We never dreamt of this. It was not in our imagination that the Million Man March that took place in Washington, D.C. in 1995 at any time would come to the Caribbean.
Yes, I understand that.
Much less
to Jamaica.
It never crossed our minds.
Yes.
So just to know that Minister Farrakhan has saw it fit to bring the Million Man March anniversary to Jamaica is just a blessing by itself. And Jamaica should be out at the national arena in numbers. Because in 1995 when the call was made and when you looked at the Washington Mall in Washington DC, almost 2 million black men. I saw the inauguration of President Obama with Chinese and Caucasians and blacks and Jews and men and women and children and gays and lesbians, and to be honest with you, the numbers didn't match the numbers that I saw when I looked at the TV and saw those black men in Washington DC in 1995.
That was a very, very well supported event in terms of the people who turned out, and it was a call, Brother Hugh Muhammad, that got to it somehow connected with the cells of it was a Million Man March. It was first of all geared and aimed at the male, but it got to the cells of the family. And so the women turned out, the men turned out. What was it about that call that touched people to the extent that they came to Washington or went to Washington from all over the world?
Well, Sister Kabul, Brother Muta, thanks for having me on this show. The realization there was a call for men, but when God in the beginning, he started with the man. And when the family is to be repaired, you must start by repairing the man. So when the minister called... I
really want to talk about Denkinish and Lucy, but go ahead.
Yeah. When the minister made the call, there were some conditions in America. Black men killing black men. You had all kind of things going on. And the minister started on a tour that was stop the killing. So by the time he got to New York City, God put the call on him. I want to bring 1 million men to Washington, D.C. But it was conditions that was going on in society that made the minister make the call, God make the call through Minister Farrakhan. And you're right, enough women supported the call because they wanted to see the black man repaired. They wanted to see the family united. They wanted to see us taking care of our children and all those things that happened that the minister talked about. We saw black men being responsible. We saw families being united. We saw children being adopted. We saw crime rates going down. We saw our people getting back into a spirit of love of one another. So, you know, that was a great call, and it's time for that call again because it's much of the same thing in the Caribbean, in America the same way still, and throughout the world.
I should have mentioned that now, because I want to throw a can in the phone call.
Throw one can, no?
Yeah, all right. We see the Million Man March 19 years ago. We look for which part Obama come from, right in our neighborhood in Chicago. Them now call it Chirac. I don't know if you are familiar with that.
Yes, we're familiar with that.
Chirac is like Iraq in Chicago, where hundreds of youth are kill one another. Black youth, them are kill one another. Oh, you see that in relationship to Carl in 19 years ago, and what came out of it in relationship to where we are going now, especially in Chicago.
Well, Brother Muta, I think the minister can cover a lot of that because we have something that's called social engineering going on. We see it in Jamaica too. We see
in Chicago.
Yeah, in Chicago. But we see throughout America, throughout the world. Because what you have when you start changing the culture, the scripture says a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So whoever is going to control the mind through words, through music, through movies, through culture, they're going to eventually control what the people do. So whoever controls the diameter of your thought, of your knowledge, control the circumference of your activity or your thoughts. So they understand that they have to control black youth by putting a negative reality. So they went from calling us queens and kings to negative names, right?
But why if he said Chicago is the epitome now of crime and violence in America?
Well, Chicago
itself.
Well, yeah, think about it.
Very populated black area.
Think about it. That's where the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan reside. That's where the president come from. That's where Jesse Jackson is. That's where some of the greatest thinkers.
But you know the things because them come from there, you wouldn't have this violent situation going on in Chicago.
Well, Muta, you know the Bible well. When the scripture says, come, let's deal wisely with them.
Yeah.
What do you think them are doing? You know, think them are plan and do the things that they're doing. So we see the things.
All right, we can't talk about them all the while, you know, but we are talking about we now. Not them we are working with, you know. We are saying Chicago, the black community in Chicago seem to be devouring each other. in America, in Chicago, right? Why is it that all of the man them who you say come from Chicago, President Farrakhan, all of them people, yet still Chicago is the biggest crime-ridden area right now in America? Shouldn't it be like the least of all the crime-ridden places in America, given that all of these people who are supposed to have been influential upon the black community? Shouldn't it be the least of all the crime places instead of call it now Chirac?
Well, I can't say it should be the least. Muto, we have over 1 million people just black living in Chicago. It's a huge city. So the realization is, as you have the same conditions that we talked about, if you're dealing with social engineering, the type of the music, who's controlling the mind, but it's throughout America. So what we're saying is this. When you look at Chicago, you look at New York, you look at Memphis, you look at Los Angeles, and you have what they call the gangs, or we call them youth organizations. We see the same thing down here in Jamaica. So I don't want... No, hold on, Muto, hold on.
But we don't want to... We are talking about Jamaica all the while, you know. We are talking about a specific place now where Farrakhan come from, where the president come from, and now it is the biggest crime-ridden state in America, given that the majority of crime that is going on there is black people. How is it that Farrakhan, Obama, and all the big black leaders, them never was not able to stem the crime, giving them influence? Just like how we have the 1 million man, he was able to bring 1 million man into Washington, right? And 19 years ago that, but we're talking about now.
Well, Muta, like I said, you know, the minister just recently went back into the streets of Chicago. Did you say anything about that on news? When we are going through Chicago on the streets, we're taking hundreds of men into the street, talking to the young people, them, and they're actually putting down the guns. When the minister just recently had a call, we had the culture community come out, and we met in the minister talking about changing the lyrics in the music. So we're seeing the stemming ties. But they're not showing you in Jamaica and the media. They're not showing you the work that is being done. So what the media do?
No, it's not the news, it's not the media, because I see that, you know.
No.
It's I go to go see.
No, but Muta, let me say this. Just like any major city, we have some things. That's why we're working to change all of that. So
let us talk about it, and I understand what Muta is saying, and to me it makes a lot of sense. The question that is being asked is that enough power you would think would be vested in Jesse Jackson, Barack Obama, Minister Farrakhan, to say and to stand up and definitively say not in Chicago first of all. I know that it was done in New York, the way it was done in New York, but it was by throwing a lot of black men in prison. So it means then that it has to be different in terms of how you approach it in Chicago. But let me ask you about the Million Man March itself, and then the Million Family March. I was at that one. That was in 2005. What was achieved, do you think, that addressed at the time and is still addressing this situation that faces the black community wherever we are, which is crime and violence, poverty, and so on? What was achieved?
Well, I want to go back and just finish on the one piece that Muta said, because Muta, we can't put Minister Farrakhan and President Obama in the same lineup. So what I'm saying is this: you have one man that is working. Yes, President Obama is from Chicago, but how much have he actually done for the black community? So when you say President Obama, who's over the United States, he's not the president for black people, he's the president for America. And just like any other president, they have not acknowledged what have happened. When we talk about what the injustices that's happening to black people, whether it's in Chicago or New York or wherever, or what we saw happen in Ferguson, the realization is that whenever you have men like Minister Farrakhan and Jesse and many others who have stood up, you have a greater concentration to work against that. What I'm saying is that work is being done. And so as the minister is moving out and talking about that, many of the things that we saw that came out of the Million Man March, there was a group that came behind to try to undermine that. That's right. So now we're working to say, you know what, we have to say, well, anyone that don't want to see our rise. That's right. That's going to create, if you think about it, in the 90s, and Muta, we have to put both of them together, because the black man is the black man within America, as Honorable Marx Garvey said, you know, Africa for African at home and abroad. So no matter where we're in America or we're in Jamaica, we still won.
So what
and
when
you sow seeds, when you sow seeds, the enemy is always coming behind.
Right. So are you saying then that the revolutionary process of change within the black family, among black men and women, that a part of the process was what we saw happening in Chicago, in Washington D.C. and the Million Family March and so on? You're saying that has been stymied?
No, not timing, but the enemy is at work. The enemy is at play. The puppet master is at play. So while Minister Farrakhan and others sow seeds of change for our people, of upliftment for our people, the enemy does not want to see us united. The enemy does not want to see the black man free from the oppression. So he does whatever is necessary
to keep us
downtrodden and keep us oppressed.
So let us look at the gains of 95 and the gains of 2005 and what is expected from today's
I would just say, one of the things that I'm just reflecting, and we said the enemy, we have to say white supremacy and the effect that it has, not only in Jamaica, but diaspora. And when we look at the things that have been taking place, Muta is right. We have to do a better job. That is a part of Minister Farrakhan's call, because reparation and repair is not going to be done by anybody but by us. We have the ability to start to repair ourselves. This is what you talk about, Muta and Sister Kabu. So we have to have more people invested in the change. So the call has to consistently be made to remind us of our responsibility. And that was the call in 1995. Responsibility.
Well, because the thing is that you said there are a lot of persons listening now who weren't even born in 1995, talking about 19 years.
Yes.
And some who are vaguely recalling and remembering what happened in 95. And what was the idea behind 95? How much of that was achieved? What was the thinking behind 2005? What were we able to tap into and to operationalize? And what is expected from today?
A great deal was achieved.
95.
In 1995. I read reports of the crime that was in all over the United States of America before 1995. And when you look at those statistics, murder, rape, all these crimes that black men were committing against one another, when you look at those statistics, in reality, those statistics started going down when Minister Farrakhan was on the tour of Stop the Killing in 1994. And in 1995, they went way down. And to date, in reality, none of those statistics have actually gone back to where they were before the Million Man March. So they are not going to show us the achievements of the Million Man March. They are going to show us the negative impact that affects black people all the time. But the reality is the Million Man March have accomplished much for black people. The Million Family March accomplished much for us. When you see the pride that black people now takes in themselves, look at you came on March accomplished much for us. When you see the pride that black people now takes in themselves, look at you came in and I heard you talking earlier about how beautiful the Muslims look when you came in and saw them, the sisters. Much of this was accomplished through the message that Minister Farrakhan delivered. And think about if those who you are seeing now did not hear that message, what would the condition of black people have been? Would it be worse with much more of us in ignorance? Because the scripture says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. But it also says, and if they reject knowledge...
All right, but my brother, we can't prove a negative. Well, we probably can. Scientists will say we can. But we're really not going to prove a negative. In other words, the Christians argue in the very same way. That we talk about crime and violence in Jamaica, and when you engage a church, a lot of church people say, but if we weren't praying, what would the situation be? Well, I can't prove that. What we know is that the situation is not good.
Yes.
And escalating.
So the work continues.
Right. So the work continues. What is the mandate then of the Nation of Islam, and especially with gatherings like these? What's the idea? What is the thinking?
Minister Farrakhan will lay out the mandate today, Sister Kabu. That's why Jamaica need to come out. That is the reason why Jamaica need to come out and hear what Minister Farrakhan has to say today. Because Minister Farrakhan will give us the mandate. Minister Farrakhan will give us enough today to last us for another 50 to 100 years.
Was the mandate at 95 clear?
It was. It was.
What was the mandate at 95?
At 2.
Go ahead. But at the end of the mandate, when you heard that there was a pledge that was said, I, repeat my name, pledge to love my brother as I love myself. I, say your name, will take care of my family. So a lot of the mandate was clear, but we have to follow it up. When you talk about...
Well, I want you to say the pledge for me, because we've been talking about it all morning.
I'll get it for you. I don't know the entire pledge. I'm not going to say it. But at the end of it, we pledge responsibility to build, to have farms and farmers, to do the things that is necessary. And that has been a very big part of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan push for us going back to the earth. And we have, when we're talking about an economic blueprint, it has to include farming, it has to include agribusiness, and those things that will provide for our people. We can't sit here, and both of you are very intelligent men and women, and understand when an education system fails, when we have the very institutions of society that's failing, in order to do it, we have to build new ones because the old ones have failed us. And so we have to come back now to make a decision. And I think this is what you were saying, Muta, that we can't keep blaming somebody else for what we can't start doing for ourselves. So we know how to. So the minister's message is a message of empowerment, upliftment, and unity, to say if we came together and did the things that we talk about, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, whether you're Rasta, because the minister said it don't make a difference what your religion is. There is principles that we need to do to be successful in what we're doing. And one of the biggest things is we have to learn how to treat each other correctly. And that's a continuous teaching mechanism that is there. And that's why Minister Farrakhan spent, week in and week out in 94 going around the country talking about stop the killing. That's why we say, if Jamaica come out today, I can't say what's in the minister's mind, what God have put on him, but it is something that was so powerful when he made the decision. When somebody come and say, boy, Minister Farrakhan, why don't you come do this thing at Jamaica, because boy, I would think, no. He looked at what's going on, the love that he had for the Caribbean, what Jamaica have given, not just to the Caribbean, but to the world. When you talk about the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, when you talk about Bob Marley, we said Peter Tosh's birthday is today as well. And when you look at the different things, you see that type of development that is coming. So I think when a Peter thing, you just say, people say they want peace. But Peter said what we want is what? We want equal justice and fair dealing. Yes. You see, so that is what we're saying that we want. And if we start treating ourselves correctly, then automatically everybody else have to look and we call we responsible. We're not going to make somebody do to us what we're going to not do to ourselves.
All right, my brother, just hold for me a minute. Let us take a quick minute now. After 8 o'clock, we're coming to you live from the National Arena. It's the 19th anniversary of the Million Man March. It's a day of atonement, and we're broadcasting the Africa Forum live until 10 o'clock. The activities are going to be kicking in high gear anytime soon. As a matter of fact, we're seeing people already gathering here, which is pretty early for the event, but we understand that people are coming in from far and wide across Jamaica on buses and private buses and public buses and so on. But we understand you're coming in from all sections of Jamaica. The program we'll talk about a little bit later. But we're cutting to you, my brother. You were saying?
No, I was just saying that, the things that we're talking about is picking ourselves back up. And while we have things out there, we see the crime that's going on in the United States, there's great work that's going on, but the work continues. And I think that's the effort that the minister came, because this, while it's in Jamaica, it's going through the Caribbean. We're broadcasting through the island of the Caribbean and back into the United States and other parts of Africa. So we're going out live on satellite. So once we go up here at 2 o'clock, it's on radio here in Jamaica.
I just like to say that we're going out live across the globe too at irfm.net. So we just welcome our listeners on the internet in the Netherlands. Thank you, Alvis. I'm seeing your tweet from the Netherlands, from the UK. I'm seeing your tweets from the UK. I'm seeing your tweets from the United States. I'm seeing your tweets from Ghana. Thank you very much for linking us on this broadcast, Mr. Hugh Mohammed.
Yes, so I just think, Sister Kabu, I think today there's a special message. It's hard for me to say what the minister is going Say, you know, today, that's why I would say everybody have to come down here. Doors open at 12. Program starts at 2, right here at the National Arena.
What will the program involve today?
What will the program involve?
I know that the keynote address will be delivered by Minister Farrakhan, but what are there performances? Are there other activities that we're going to be seeing on stage?
Yes,
hearing from others?
There's a couple performances that will be taking place.
Speakers as well.
Muta will be unofficially speaking too.
Muta is one of the speakers. Yeah. My brother, let me interview you now.
No,
what can we expect from
first time Farrakhan talk in this place? I was on the stage there talking.
I remember 96.
Yes.
96. I was there. I was in the front. Third row.
Yeah, as a little child.
As a little child, yes. Half my size. But Muta, so you're speaking today.
Yes.
So take off your
They don't know that yet, but I tell you. But like I said something here. I know I'm gonna be on now the Million Man March. Me remember the first time I know Farrakhan, right? And at Chicago we didn't know him from. As a matter of fact, is a Ephraim Martin Award, him came in Chicago, was performing, and from that me and him link up. But I know of him works with the Bloods and the Crips in California. I think that I've ascribed that to him in terms of the work we do for really pacify the group there and make it more easy for Los Angeles become somewhere where black people can really create a vibes amongst themselves. The thing is that we never say it duplicate itself in other states, especially Chicago. The reason why I emphasize Chicago, because the youth them rename it Chirac. And we up there one weekend, about 12 youth dead in the weekend when we did it. Black youth dead. And I say, all right, so all of this are going. We not connect Farrakhan and Obama, even though we know say most black people that believe say in voting for Obama, things will be totally different in America. Now them realize it's just the color make it different, but that's to see a madness. All right. So me I say, when me say Obama come from Chicago, it's not that me I say Obama is a symbol of
that's
blackness.
Right. It was selected.
Yeah, but black people select it too. Black people in the blissfulness of them ignorance believe say if a black man did at the White House, it could have been black.
Right.
Yeah, but we see that now. So it's not like we say Obama, Farrakhan. We say Obama is that black symbol out of Chicago. Farrakhan is that black symbol out of Chicago. I think Jesse Jackson too is a black symbol out of Chicago. Yet still now, if you look at the 50-odd states them in America, the black symbolism of this state itself, this area, is the worst area right now. In at this time when we have so much of these radical black thinkers
but what?
who have power. It's not like Jamaica where we don't have on the radio and we have $1 million, $2 million. I get from somebody that we can go pump in a community.
True, yes.
These black leaders have power. Farrakhan is a very powerful man. And I'm following American news. Don't feel says American news me I follow. Because I know the works of Farrakhan. I follow that up all the while. And Obama and people. What me I say, Chicago is a scourge to the liberation of black people. We could have talked about white people do this little more and white people do that little more.
May I say this?
There is something that is missing amongst the black, what we call leadership, that is keep allowing this thing to perpetuate itself.
Well said, Muta. Well said. Yes, go ahead.
Minister Farrakhan has actually sent us back out into the streets.
In Chicago?
In every state.
Chicago,
yes.
Chicago.
And in Chicago.
Yeah, because the same day.
Because Chicago itself becomes a symbol, and this is why Muta is stressing on Chicago.
Yeah, it's
a symbol, especially because of the leaders, the elite leadership among the black community. But I know Muta's question was long, but I still want to add to it because I know we'd get the gist of what Muta is asking. He says there must be something within black leadership that allows Chicago, when Barack Obama was being sworn, before he was sworn in, he disassociated himself from Minister Farrakhan, number one. Number two, we heard Jesse Jackson in that whisper that was televised live talking about the inability of Barack Obama to unite or to unite the black community. Is that thing that Muta is referring to, that disunity between and among black leaders, that fosters the kind of situation we see developing in Chicago?
Well, oftentimes, dear sister, they want us to play into what they want us to play into, and I don't want to play into that. At the end of the day, the thousands of men and women lives that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is affecting, that's what we're really here to talk about. Yes, there's some things going on and we have to do better. But when the minister went back a couple of years ago, he didn't just send us, he went out himself. Right. And after we left certain communities and we spoke to these young men and they want to do better, we know that the FBI and others came behind us in the street. So yes, we understand that. But my brother,
you see the question, yes, I know that, because we have the situation is similar in wherever we are as black people. You just said that, and it is true. So the question I'm asking, and which I think is what Muta is also talking about, he looked at the black leadership. And one of the questions that we must ask ourselves about black leadership in our communities wherever we are black leaders antagonistic? Is there a lack of unity among black leaders? I mean, these are three top men: Minister Farrakhan, Barack Obama, Jesse Jackson. But we saw one of, and I've been talking about that. It's a question I asked Mr. Farrakhan when it happened, when I did that interview. That public disassociation by Barack Obama, how did that affect the community, the black community, not just the Nation of Islam? And then that rift between Mr. Obama and Mr. Jesse Jackson, how did that further affect the black community? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I didn't see a great effect that took place. When you said that Barack Obama disassociated from the minister. In the political world, we're dealing with issues in America that when you go there, Minister Farrakhan become the litmus test. It wasn't just him. Hillary Clinton did the same thing, and almost...
But she's not black.
No. But again, I'm just saying, that's a litmus test. We're still in a white body politic. So we can talk about America all we want. You have 30 million black people or so living there, 40 million, 200 million...
No, but don't misunderstand me, because I said it is not unique to America. I'm just using that because we're talking about Chicago. But we see that among black leaders of the African Union. For example, the situation in Liberia is what it is. In Liberia is what it is because of a disunity among black leaders, because of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's representation of the United States as representing U.S. Congress in Liberia. The fact that we have 3,000 military boots being sent on the ground to the continent of Africa to address Ebola by the United States is possible because Liberia is possible. So we know that there is a situation among black leadership, and I'm saying, at what point are we going to put our collective foot down and say they will not divide us, no matter how it is part of the body politic, no matter how it's part of the symbolism, and we fade into the background? At what point do we stand up collectively and say no more? At what point do we do this?
But we see the minister right now, and when we come to Jamaica, and he's talking about unity, he's going up forth and do what God has put on him to do. We can't control them. So today, you and I can unite.
That's right. We
can say what we're going to do.
That's right.
And then when Muta gets another person, the brothers and the sisters that's right out here right now, we can start that right now. Yeah, so when you talk about...
We are united. We are talking about black leadership. You hold up. Don't twist the words that we're saying. Don't twist the words. You see, it's always the masses that are united. We're always united. It's not a joke. But it's a leadership that we're talking about. Yeah. Black leadership that we're talking about. There's a difference.
Do you know that Barack Obama was at the Million Man March?
Yeah.
And Jesse Jackson was at the Million Man March.
Of course, and that was
Minister Farrakhan called for them to unite.
Oh, no. You're totally misunderstanding something we're saying. You're totally misunderstanding the question. Because we know that. And that was the heights of unity. Yes. And that's why I asked you before, if that movement, that revolutionary movement that united people at the level that it united people in 95, if that has been stymied. That was the question I asked.
I would agree with you. Yes, I think many of the leaders in America, you don't have many leaders standing left that's talking about the unity of our people and liberation. You don't have that. That's why even with, all of the struggles that we have went through. So Minister Farrakhan, is one of those men or women, last person you have standing that talks about in the true vine. When you talk about Marcus Garvey, you talk about those that have come to talk about true liberation for our people. So when we talk about others and we can lump leadership in, I think we have to look at what is Minister Farrakhan is doing. The division is there. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that our unity is more powerful than a nuclear weapon. So if the people was together, they can put out leadership. See, the realization is that we are dealing with leadership that have not been represented of the people. This is why Minister Farrakhan is here. So the message today, I'm sure it's going to touch all aspects of what we're talking about. So when we talk about why is there a vacuum in leadership, whether it's in America or the Caribbean or in Africa, and we can look at it, I think Minister Farrakhan have demonstrated year in and year out the call for our people to come. And that's why he's well respected in Jamaica and in the Caribbean and Africa, in America. So the call today is that call again to say, listen, we have to do this together. We have to come back. We must unite, because we saw the conditions that happened in 95, in 94, we see them happening again in America. So you're right, Muta, you're right, Sister Kabu. That's why the call is down there again. So it's like our children. We can't teach them, and I'm not talking about our people as children, but we have children, and we can tell them something today, and mommy and daddy can go out there, don't say it, and we come back and we say them go back to certain behavior. Mommy and daddy don't stop and say, oh boy, them now go change, them pick them just backward. No, mommy and daddy call the children again. And they say, listen,
all right, so
listen, daughter.
We have to take a break, but when we come back, we want to talk about some of the practical solutions that we might hear today.
We're going to send you a couple more people down to do some interviews.
All right, so good.
We'll talk.
Okay,
yeah.
Great, because I understand you're part of the organizing team.
Chicago, because Minister Farrakhan over the past 2 months met with the gang leaders in Chicago. So the change has begun. So watch Chicago.
All right, brilliant.
Watch the change has come.
It's amazing that them
the change is coming.
It's amazing that them
It is amazing, Muta. Yeah. All right, let us take a quick break. We'll be right back with much more. Pick 4 and Cash Pot draws. Welcome back. We're coming to you from the National Arena. Just a few more minutes before it will be time for our local and international headlines and IRFM's Sunday Sports Diary. Muta, we've been talking about China in Jamaica. And if you notice, and I'd just like to make this disclaimer right now, because I am very, very careful, and I have been since 2007, when I started talking about China in Africa and the possibility of China in Jamaica, to say China in Jamaica, to say China Harbor or China, and not to say Chinese, because we understand the history of the Chinese in Jamaica, and a history that is bound up inextricably with my own history, so that we're not talking about the Chinese in Jamaica generally, but we're talking about China in Jamaica, which is a totally different situation. So thank you very much, Mr. Dennis Jones on Twitter. He says, don't ignore that Chinese blood, sweat and tears have helped build Jamaica and still help to sustain it.
Yeah, well, we know that from a longer time. I mean, you see, that's why I say now, the most things we don't have no sense, because the same thing I tell the people, them don't say, them now go to Africa. When it's 3 countries, it's a problem. So the same thing now, when I say the Chinese, because we know the Chinese there from a long time. I mean, when we used to live down by the south of Kingston, every shop when we used to go to was Chinese shop. We know that. Everybody was. You'd have Chinatown in Jamaica, you know. You didn't know that?
My great grandfather is from the stock, you know.
Yeah,
of Chinese Street, in Jamaica.
From Barrett
so I know that very well.
Yeah. And Luke Lane, Princess Street, West Street, all of them places was known as Chinatown. So we're now really,
so we understand it, and we're very, 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 very sensitive to that. We know that very well. Thank you very much, though, because I think it's important to say, so I'm very happy that Dennis Jones pointed that out, because when you say China in Jamaica, it is totally different. China in Jamaica has to do with the private sector China in Jamaica. It has to do with China government in Jamaica. It has to do with the deals being made by Jamaica as a government and China as a government. Nicholas, by the way, we're talking about...
sometimes we might slip up to answer Chinese, but it's not our intention. Just like how we slip up and say chikungunya.
It's not your intention.
It's not my intention to say chikungunya.
And you know, but when you say Chirac, it's no slip up.
No, it's called the youth, them call it Chirac.
All right, well, there's a youth in Chirac now in Chicago who is there on another business, sporting business. Nicholas Evans is in Chicago, and we were just talking about Chicago.
Yeah.
Nicholas, morning, man.
Why so like we have planned this thing? We have to go eat here, somebody, they're hiring and eat here. We have to go Chicago and know where you say.
Muta, put on your headphone. Yes, what you said, Nicholas? Say that again.
I can't believe you sent me a hostile territory without telling me you're in Chirac.
You know, I told you that when you were going to Texas, you were going into Ebola-infested country, and you went anyway.
I didn't go to Texas. I went to Kansas. I went to.
You went to Kansas.
I didn't go to Texas.
Okay, so you're yes, you didn't know you were in Chirac, and Muta is letting us know all about Chirac. So, Nicholas, I know you've been listening online and hearing that you're actually in Chirac, and how that make you feel, man? Poor says, looking forward to hearing what Mr. Farrakhan. Greetings, Kabumat. I'm listening. Looking forward to hearing what Mr. Farrakhan will speak about on Heroes Day. I don't see any program about him being in Jamaica. Hotep Kings, Queens, Prince and Princesses. And we also have Kama Soshi Rasta saying greetings, Queen, to you and your family and friends. Rastafari lives. On the internet, on Twitter, by the way, lots and lots of responses from all over the world. Ras Jomo is in Buffalo. Yes. Ras Jomo, good morning. Are you here, Ras Jomo? The picture you sent like it there, sir. Is it a picture there? Oh, Ras Jomo in the crowd, you know. Jomo, you here? Jomo! Oh, no, I'm not there. Him send a picture look like him.
Him there on the phone?
Him not on the phone, but the picture him sent him to look like him here, man.
Him there.
Yes. All right. Yeah. So, lots of responses on the social media. We're seeing you. Thank you very much for doing that, for tweeting and for sending in your messages. We're going to be going to news and then the Sunday Sports Diary. You'll rejoin us here at the National Arena right after that.
Good morning. I'm Lanigay Green with the local and international headlines. History is being created today as Jamaica hosts the 19th anniversary of the Million Men March at the National Arena in Kingston. Area FM's Kabu, Matt, Karu and Mutabaruka are live on location broadcasting the day's event. For the first time since its inception in 1995, the Nation of Islam's Million Men March is being held outside the United States. The Million Man March commemorates the Nation of Islam's commitment to family values and reconciliation among persons of African descent. Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan will be the main speaker of this historic moment later this afternoon. The government says there is no truth to rumors being circulated of a case of Ebola in Jamaica. In a statement issued, Information Minister Sandra Faulkner says there is no case of anyone with the Ebola virus on the island. She says all precautionary and preparatory steps to prevent the Ebola virus reaching Jamaica's shores are being taken by the government. The statement from the government follows yesterday's scare at the Mandeville Regional Hospital after the accident and emergency room at the Mandeville Regional Hospital was reportedly blocked off as doctors attended to a man of African descent. As cleanup activities to eradicate mosquito breeding sites across the island continue, stakeholders in Santan have decided to carry out a cleanup drive across the parish next Wednesday, October 22. The exercise will be carried out as part of efforts to control the spread of the chikungunya virus. The decision was taken at a special meeting of the Santan Parish Disaster Committee at the council on Friday. The stakeholders, including the members of Parliament, health officials, the police, church leaders, councillors and the mayor met for several hours to decide on how to mitigate the problem. Through the insistence of MP Shaheen Robinson and Mayor of St. Anne's Bay, Desmond Gilmore, on the urgency of the matter, it was agreed that cleanup would begin simultaneously in all communities across the parish, with special attention given to the high-risk areas. The police are warning the public to be aware of individuals posing as National Water Commission workers or persons employed to other utility companies. The warning comes on the heel of reports received by the police that men are posing as workers employed to utility companies, in particular the NWC. Police say these individuals visit the homes of unsuspecting occupants and inform them that they have come to read meters or to install shower caps to reduce water waste. Additionally, they pose as contractors of other utility companies and inform household occupants that they are there to replace high energy consumption bulbs with energy conservation bulbs for free. Police say once these men gain entry to premises, they commit robberies. They are believed to be operating especially in the Kingston 6 and 8 areas. Exporters should see significant improvements in the testing of samples and a reduction in the length of time the process takes, particularly for those who had to use overseas testing facilities in the past. This is as a result of $34.7 million worth of state-of-the-art equipment, which the European Union officially handed over to the Bureau of Standards for its chemistry and microbiology laboratories. The project, which falls under the Economic Partnership Agreement, also has a training component for BSJ staff. In his address, Chief Technical Director in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Stephen Wedderburn, welcomed the initiative, pointing out the importance and benefit of standards and conformity to the micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. And finally, news overseas. Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf says the whole world has a stake in the fight against Ebola. In a letter to the world, which was broadcast on the BBC, she said the disease respects no borders and that every country had to do all it could to help fight it. President Johnson Sirleaf added that a generation of Africans were at risk of being lost to economic catastrophe. The Ebola outbreak has killed more than 4,500 people across West Africa, including 2,200 in Liberia. International donations have so far fallen well short of the amounts requested by UN agencies and aid organizations. In the worst affected countries, Guinea, Liberia and Sierra Leone, about 9,000 people have been found to have the Ebola virus, which kills an estimated 70% of those infected. Those were the local and international headlines. News is next at 11:45. You can go online to ariafm.net to view some of the stories. Like us on Facebook.com/ariafm news. Follow us on Twitter at ariafm_news. From the Ariafm newsroom, I'm Lanigay Green.
One of the greatest land grabs that we've ever seen since since slavery and the colonization of Africa, and it's happening right before our own eyes, Muta, and it seems as if we're impotent to do anything about it. So even as we gather here at the National Arena on this Day of Atonement, I think it behoves us to pay serious attention to the extent to which our lands are being given away in deals by those who have been entrusted to hold this land in trust for us and our children. Serious situation. We appeal once again to the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Do not give away the watershed lands at Duns River. Do not give away the watershed lands at Roaring River. Do not give away the watershed lands at Laughing Waters. Muta, I have papers.
But you know, you said do not do it.
It done already?
The same thing with that about do not give away Goat Island, you know, I done hear them done. And
it's the same thing for Roaring River.
Yeah.
From last week's program. But I have documents, which I don't know if they had those documents for Goat Island, but we have documents, orders of St. Anne, which states categorically that the lands at Laughing Waters.
After you pass Dun River.
After you pass Dun River, that those lands that are on the right side going to St. Anne's Bay, that those lands must not be sold or given away and taken away from the people. It belong to the people. We also have the deed. I have the deed, which they refused to make available through access to information, but I got it to the lands at at Fisherman's Beach, which are about to remove the fishermen from, which categorically state that you cannot make this land inaccessible to the public. So we're going to publicize those next week.
So you don't believe them when them say what they're going to do is make it more beautiful for tourists. Them.
You believe that?
Me? Me don't believe not what them say.
We don't.
We have to discern for myself.
Yes.
But them say that it's an eyesore from the sea.
Yes.
I don't know.
It's a carnival cruise.
It's kind of weird.
But we have already called carnival cruise.
Did
and
they
have our
say
interview
that
set up.
it is because of those people? Why?
No, we have interviews set up with the top person. Never wanted to know. So we have interviews set up for next week to find out from carnival cruise.
If it's true, the fishermen, why them say they not come? Them no, I come.
Yes, to Otrius.
Them people are terrible, understand?
Them think we're idiots.
They're terrible.
It's the 19th anniversary of the Million Man March, and I'm telling you, a beautiful day here at the National Arena. We're joined now by our brother. Is it Brother Nuri?
Yes, sir.
Oh, greetings, Brother Nuri Muhammad.
Well.
Right, how are you, sir?
I'm fine by the grace of Almighty God, Allah. So happy to be here with you and this great warrior, Brother Muta, who's been fighting on the battlefield here in Jamaica. You mean so much to our people, brother, and we pray that the sacred hedge of protection be around you, mind, body, and soul, that you can continue to secure victories for us.
Give thanks, man. Give thanks.
My brother, we've been talking about
mind, body, and soul, that you can continue to secure victories for us.
Give thanks, man. Give thanks.
My brother, we've been talking about the Million Man March itself of 95 and looking at the Million Family March of 2005. And here we are now in Jamaica. And one of the questions we've been asking, because you've come in at the middle of the interview, one of the questions we've been asking is, what is the mandate of events like these, the Million Man March itself, the Million Family March, and now this event today, and where do we go from here? Do we continue to meet, to congregate? Mm-hmm. What are the expectations?
Well, what we have found is that we have a bad history as a people, where we come to meetings, we come to marches, we come to gatherings, we come to events, and we leave and say, man, that meeting, that event, and that gathering, that march was something. And then we go home and do nothing. So we intend today, with the help of God from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, to have within inside of the statement not only inspiration, but action items by which we can go home and organize around. And we believe that if we don't call this great meeting that's going to take place today something, and go home and do nothing, but if we go home and convert our houses into the appropriate spiritual environments to accommodate and achieve what we have agreed upon today as the people of Jamaica, then I believe that we'll be able to see from it committees, plans, organization, unity, and mix all that together. That spells great progress.
Is there a concern about right now? I don't know if those of you who is coming from America is recognizing this, but because we as artists, Jamaican artists, has traveled to Africa a lot, is there a concern in America and amongst the nation of Islam about what we now call the stigmatization of Africa because of this Ebola thing that is happening here? Is it a concern, or it don't reach any level amongst the nation of Islam for it to be a concern?
Well, absolutely. See, one of the biggest impediments that we have as a people is that we don't feel each other's pain like we're supposed to. What I've learned from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he teaches us that not only should we have sympathy for one another, but we should in fact have empathy. Sympathy means that I feel bad because you feel bad. Mm-hmm. But empathy means that I feel the same pain that you feel. So wherever our people are struggling, whether it's Liberia, whether it's Jamaica, whether it's Guyana, whether it's Harlem, New York, we should feel the pain of all of our people. naturally we are concerned because, as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, history is best qualified to reward the researcher. So anything I want to study, if I'm studying it and I want to get an accurate view of it, past actions are the best predictors of future behavior. So what has been the history of biological warfare? Where did AIDS come from? See, where did syphilis come from? And is the anatomy of Ebola the same as syphilis or AIDS, which has proven to be a man-made disease for population control?
And how does that knowledge assist us as African people to fight against or to prevent the decimation of black people wherever we are by diseases?
Well, what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us is that our unity would solve 95% of our problems. I believe, and he believes and teaches us, that the unity of people, black people, one with another, and then two with that higher power, the more united we are with the creator of all things and with each other, will absolutely solve those problems. What ends up happening to us that stops us from uniting is that we forget that we have that same common open enemy. But when we can be proven that this is population control in this example, or this land snatching is colonization and treachery in a new form. When we can prove that, then we are clear on who our enemy is.
What does proving that mean? Because how do you prove that?
Well, once you have the evidence, as you said, I have paperwork. See, once the evidence has been presented to us as a people, then we stop wasting time holding our hands out, trying to build a relationship and get a hug from our open enemy. And we turn around and look at each other, and we start looking out to embrace one another. And once we do that, the problem that the outside enemy is heaping on us will have no effect if we can destroy the interior enemy: envy, jealousy, nationalism, tribalism. I'm a Rastafari, you Nation of Islam, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, I'm with the UNI. Once we bust up all that and start working together, you're going to see out of the creative mind of the original people of the planet the solutions for every problem that we are faced with.
I think that going beyond the knowing of what is causing it, but what are we causing in our attitude towards fundamentally how we eat and how we treat our body? Because disease affect people body because them body is not immune to certain disease, and the people them is not knowledgeable in relationship to how them eat and how them drink. And I think that is a fundamental reasoning that black people especially need to get out of what I call knowing of the conspiracy, but just sitting down and say this is what is happening. So
you teach him, brother.
I am feeling that right now our immune system needs to build up, because you have people who's in the middle of that Ebola thing in Liberia and don't catch it. So we have to find what is it that is in these people's DNA that is not making them catch it, even though them in the middle of it. Why is it that some people would have the chick V here and some people don't have it? We need to facilitate that information and that reasoning around it. But if you're in a society where normal Jamaican people, if you start to tell them about vegetarian, them start to say, after me no rabbit. You know, if you start to tell them about what you pork, because right now them have a disease that them say originated in America that only attack the pig. I don't know if you hear about it. They have a disease right now that only attack the pig. And that disease, them say, might come to Jamaica, but they are prepared for it. Now, coming to Jamaica through live pig is one, but Christmas are come now. And Jamaican people love ham, and them love jerk pork, and most of it will come through the supermarket, through America. So what we are saying now is that, given that we know the conspiracy and thing, I think one of the main things we can do now is emphasize the eating habits.
Yes, sir.
Of Jamaican people and black people in general, because I think we are used with mouth to kill ourselves.
You teaching, Brother Muta, yeah. And you know, I was blessed to be able to be in the presence of the minister these last few days, and the minister is so excited. He's on edge, and he can't wait to deliver this message today to the people of Jamaica and the whole Caribbean. As you know, we are broadcasting all over the Caribbean live.
Definitely.
He teaches us this: whoever controls your kitchen controls your revolution.
Of course.
So
definitely.
He also said to us that man is made up whatever he puts in his mind and whatever he puts in his mouth.
Yes.
So whenever you have a people that are digesting a high content of truth and in their mind and putting a high quality food in their mouth, then they become immune to the traditional diseases that exist in the world. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us 2 books called How to Eat to Live.
I read that book from school.
Man, I'm telling you, if you get those 2 books, and what's so beautiful about How to Eat to Live is that not only is it the divine formula from the Creator on the best way to operate this machine, but it's inexpensive to follow it.
Let me ask you a question, though, because I agree with fundamentally with what is being said. So here's a book that was written before the advent and the onset of genetically engineered products, and Muta, vegetarianism before GMOs. So almost every vegetable now is genetically modified. Almost every food is genetically modified. What role does that play in terms of the knowledge? And
very good question. Well, see, the beauty of it is that if you look at this book, How to Eat to Live, it says at the top, from Allah, God in person. So what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was and is, he was raised by God to be a messenger of God. What is one of the titles of messenger? They have the ability to prophesy. Prophesy, fesi meaning to speak, pro meaning in advance. So prophecy means someone that speaks in advance. You can't speak in advance if you don't see in advance. We believe that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was in that same line of divine as the great worthies and messengers in the past. We have 2 good sights as regular people. We have insight, meaning we can see into the present, and we have hindsight. We can see pretty good in the past. And we say in the West that, you know, hindsight is 20/20. We never say insight is, so we pretty much good at looking back at what has already happened, not necessarily what's going on. But what a messenger of God has that separates him from the common man, he doesn't have just hindsight and insight. He has something called foresight. So I believe that the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was able to look into this time and see GMOs and see that they would be putting animal hormones into vegetables to give it longer shelf life. I believe that he knew about chemtrails from the airplanes that will pollute the atmosphere and the corruption of the ozone layer, etc. And as a result, How to Eat to Live still is the perfect, proper diet.
Yeah.
To even escape the conditions of the time.
Is the Nation of Islam facilitating farms in America?
By the grace of Allah, God, we have been blessed. We have over 1,500 acres of farmland in Georgia. Okay. And we have our own fleet of Peterbilt trucks, refrigerated and non-refrigerated, that distributes produce all over the country. We have another 400 or 500 acres in New York. The minister, he has a great farm in Michigan that is producing navy beans. And soon, with the help of God, we will be able to have canning factories, and we'll be able to get produce all over the world. We're on an economic blueprint push where we're asking everyone to just give a nickel a day, 35 cents a week, $1.40 a month, $18.20 a year in a national fund. And if we can get just 16 million working class people to donate, we have $290,200,000 in 1 year's time, all going toward land purchase.
Yes.
Where we can begin to produce our own food, and we don't have to worry about GMO.
Monsanto.
Well, this sounds like a practical solution, and it's one of the first practical solutions. And it's a question that we get all the time from listeners all over the world about seed banks, about just the same thing you're talking about, acquiring land and so on. So that if there's a blueprint for that, is this something that we need to look at?
We know when the minister was here in 2011, he recommended urban gardening. To take the lots in the neighborhoods or the small plot of land you live on and begin growing from it. That way you know that whenever I pick up that lettuce, I know what's in it.
Of course.
I'm not buying something that say it is what it is. I know for sure it is what it is.
Considering that we cannot compete with them industrially.
That's right.
We have to know what is it that is ours, and we know that the land is the basis of power. If you don't have any land, you don't have no power.
That's right.
And if we don't reconsider this idea of what is industrialization as opposed to what is agriculture.
That's right.
And some people say agriculture does not give you a modern way of seeing things, but I refute that. Industrialization gone beyond what human beings supposed to be.
That's
agriculture maintain your humanness.
That's
and I think that is how we should go. But we cannot go there if we continue to make the enemy feed we.
Well, that's why I'm so excited, and I hope everybody here is excited. See, every voluntary act of the human body must first start off as a thought.
Yes.
And that thought encourages the body by giving the body the appropriate feeling that matches the nature of that thought. And that feeling inspires the body to engage in action that matches the thought. So you can't have activity without thought. And we know that the scripture says it like this, that how will they know? Except they have a teacher. And how will they have a teacher except that he be sent? I believe that God has sent us a great and wonderful servant in the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And he will be able to give us that requisite knowledge that will help us to have the appropriate thought process that will inspire our body to engage in the right human action that will bring about success for us as a people.
And we know that people are coming from across Jamaica to the national arena today for just such an occasion. Things are
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. Things are picking up here in a serious way. Just to say that, you know, the members of the Nation of Islam who are arriving, this is really such this is such a beautiful sight. The women who are all decked out in white from head to toe, literally, and the men who are all, you know, dapper, is not head to toe.
They are the ladies are blending in with the sun.
Yes, they're reflecting the sun. And the men who are very, very dapper, you know, in their black suits. This is really a beautiful sight to behold. We saw it last night in the hotel lobby, and we were just taking pictures left, right, and center and posting people's pictures on social media. We apologize. We're guilty.
Oh, no.
But it really was beautiful. And it is beautiful this morning just the same. You have to see this.
And you are beautiful, and you are beautiful, and the people of Jamaica are beautiful people.
Thank you.
I just want to say one little thing here, you know. One time I was going through the airport in Miami, and Farrakhan was going to take a plane, and no security. I mean, I said, what? Farrakhan done this one. It's like me, I go there to go try team, and security hold me off, and Farrakhan side me, and him say, love him, man. You know, he never say love him, but...
love him, yes.
Yeah. You know, say, me did feel good.
Right.
Me did feel good. Believe you me, because... him could have just go through the door and everybody check me, but
like I told you,
that respect really make me bypass him security was really touching for me personally. So I don't know if you remember it, but I just want to tell you that him didn't make me bypass him security just to hug me up and embrace me in a Florida airport.
Well, you know, like I told you the other day, the minister loves you, brother, and he appreciates your work. You know, what I see whenever I see you and I see my sister here, all of the people that have decided to pick up the struggle, you know that had you decided to use your skill, talent, willpower, natural creative brain to do anything else, you could have done it and been very personally rich.
Yeah.
But you sacrifice your pocket for principle. You sacrifice your pocket for the good of the people. And we are thankful that you all decided to donate your time, talent, and treasure, mind, money, and muscle, not for personal gain, but for the rise of our people. That is what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is about. He, in my humble opinion, with a 60-year track record, is the epitome of selflessness and sacrifice, love, and commitment to the rise of a people.
Thank you very much, my brother.
There is a lot of Nation of Islam coming in right now, and it really
and we're totally distracted because it is such a
totally
beautiful
distracted
sight.
because I see busloads and van loads of white.
Just from head to toe. And then there was one sister who came and she was all decked out in white, but her headgear was red.
Yeah.
And that
so
bouncing off the white was brilliant.
That is not, it's 2 o'clock. I mean, I would see so much.
Yeah.
You can just imagine when 2 o'clock.
Yes,
we are so happy. And as you were saying, Brother Muta, this is a product of good thinking, good eating.
Of course.
This is a product. We are really the fruit of Farrakhan.
Yes.
We are a representation of the greatness of that man's mind and ability to guide and lead a people.
Definitely.
All right. Take your children, take your family, and come to the national arena.
Please bring, Brother Muta. We have to say this.
Today.
We have to get the young soldiers out. If you are a parent and you are coming, do not leave that teenage brother or sister at home. The young mind has been developed at a higher rate by God himself. Therefore, they pick up on ideas and they can move quicker than the last generation. We need them to be the carriers of the idea of independence,
of course,
real independence for Jamaica.
It's a family day. Take your family, and it's not too late to take your family from anywhere in Jamaica, from Portland to Negril, because even though we've been here since 6 o'clock this morning, the activities in terms of what's going to be happening on stage will get underway right at 2 o'clock. But lots and lots happening here on the grounds of the National Arena right now. Although 2 o'clock is when, we're actually going to be seeing the proceedings live from the stage. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan will be speaking. Mutabaruka will be taking the stage, which we heard that earlier.
Luciano will be taking the stage.
Luciano will be performing.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw him last night in the lobby too.
Yeah, Luciano performed last night too.
Oh,
Luciano will perform.
My brother, greetings, welcome.
Thank you very much.
We have with us now A. Akbar Mohammed, international representative of a Nation of Islam, joining us here in the IRFM booth. Good morning, sir. Welcome again. And how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Being in Jamaica, I'm doing very well.
I can just imagine. Have you heard that we have a chikungunya outbreak in Jamaica?
Yes, I heard about it.
And you weren't afraid of catching it?
No, I was not afraid of catching it, and we were briefed well on it.
Yeah.
And so we came prepared.
Okay, brilliant. Good to have you. Good to have you. Hundreds of people, it seems to us, and we heard 2,000, and I think in my hotel alone there were 2,000. So you've got thousands of people from the Nation of Islam who have come into Jamaica, haven't you?
Right. I've been here before, but first let me say this, that Minister Farrakhan has afforded thousands of those who belong to the nation to travel and see the world, and he gives them a reason to travel. 20 years ago, he took 1,900 people to Ghana in West Africa, where we had our convention.
I was there.
Yeah.
Muta, you were there.
In Ghana.
In Ghana, yes.
Yeah, and there's a very famous picture of Mutabaruka when the minister was here in 85.
Yes.
And
right in there.
Right in here. Yes. And the picture that you had your hand up. And it was just a beautiful sight. But Minister Farrakhan, and I'm saying to the brothers and sisters in your listening audience this morning, that the first public address that Minister Farrakhan made in Jamaica was December 1974 at the Muhammad Ali Day. And this, he addressed in the national arena 20,000 people. Count Ozzy opened the show up. And it was a moment in history. Those who are listening to my voice, if you were there, it wasn't like listening to it on the radio, but you can say I was a part of that history. And so I'm encouraging the brothers and sisters throughout Jamaica. This is a point in history. And Minister Farrakhan in 2009 in Libya made a commitment to the prime ministers that was strong enough to accept Muammar Gaddafi's invitation to come to Libya. Minister Farrakhan met with all of the prime ministers, the heads of state from the Caribbean. And he said, I promise you, I'm going to go through the Caribbean and try to help you with a problem that you didn't create, but other outside entities created for the Caribbean.
And we know Jamaica was represented there in Libya at that time, yes.
That's right. Yes. It was a beautiful sight. And one thing I can say about Minister Farrakhan, I've been with him since 1965 when he was transferred to New York after the tragic death of Malcolm X. And Minister Farrakhan is a man of his word. If he gives his word and God blesses him, he keeps it. So he made a tour of the Caribbean. But Jamaica is special to him. When he first came here in 1971, he didn't speak at all. He came to rest, and he traveled. We were in Montego. We drove to Kingston. We were trying to find Prince Buster, who was a member of the nation and well-known. And Shearer was the prime minister. And he did not allow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to come here.
No, he wouldn't have.
He banned everything black.
Yes.
He banned our newspaper.
Yes.
And this is why the minister, even though this is his father's home, he was hesitant because he didn't like the government banning us as if we had a plague or something. But he came. And what happened is that he was inspired. He said that I have to come and do some work in the Caribbean. These are my roots. My mother from St. Kitts, my father from Jamaica. And the message that God has blessed him with and his ability to deliver that message, he said, I have to come to the Caribbean. And as God would have it, when Muhammad Ali came and Michael Manley was in, Michael Manley lifted the ban on our paper. He invited us to come in. We set up a group here. And on that day, Minister Farrakhan spoke to the people of Jamaica. I'm only saying this to your listening audience because those who can make
I need to know. I mean, I was just a baby then.
Most of the people who might be listening now was not born during even the Million Man March.
That's true,
19 years ago. And a lot of people right now might have not even heard about the Million Man March.
Right, and that's right. The Million Man March, this is the 19th anniversary.
Yes.
Next year, it'll be 20 years since the march. And some young people...
I hope you can have it in Liberia next year.
Say that again?
I hope you might have it in Liberia.
Liberia next year. And, well, the minister's making a decision where we're going to have the 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
But there are young men and women who are 22 years old, 23. They don't know anything about the Million Man March. And the Western world, in particular white America, will not publicize the greatest march in the history of America, with more people in Washington than any march at all, led by a black man. And that black man happened to be a Muslim, which makes it a double whammy on them, and they do not say anything about it.
We can identify with that.
Yeah, we
very
have
well.
Yes. Situation in Jamaica.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so,
but we, the good thing about it is that we have now what we didn't have then, which is social media.
Yes.
And we know that social media can generate information and can generate change, so that we don't have to, as we had to then, depend on the so-called mainstream media to get our message out and to generate the kind of activity that we need to get change started. So that we say to persons on the internet at irfm.net, get on your Twitter, get on your Facebook, get on your social media, and let us know, let the world know what is happening here in Jamaica, because this is how we're going to get messages out now. We can't depend on the ABCs and the CNN.
Absolutely.
And so on. Yes.
A prime example is Ferguson, Missouri, right near St. Louis. We turned out thousands of people, no newspaper or no press, no TV would even say it, but when they looked at the numbers of thousands of people that converged on Ferguson, Missouri, and the minister years ago talked about the killing. That's how the Million Man March started.
Yes.
The black young men were in danger. And so this incident in Ferguson, as you say, the social media gathered thousands of people to protest white police killing young black men in America. It happens over and over again, swept under the rug, forgotten about. But this time, young people, through social media made a difference and turned out in the streets and turned that city upside down.
And until they get their hands on it, it's still the people's way of communicating with each other, and the activism and the kind of advocacy that we're seeing on the social media, I think, is doing great works. I mean, you've seen it both. You've come, you were here in the 70s, you met Minister Farrakhan in 65, you pointed out, and so you've seen the change in terms of how we even talk to each other, and the change that social media has brought in terms of our activism. Talk to us about that, the kind of change you're seeing, and are we doing enough using the tools that we have in generating the change that's needed?
Well, we are doing a good job, and we have to strike the balance between cultural expression and direct political expression and how we can tie them together. I grew up in a period where the artists, and you're an example, Mutabaruka, because the artists spoke to the struggle. In America, when Marvin Gaye made the album What's Going On, he was talking about the unholy war in Vietnam. And what America had got itself involved in. And out of Jamaica, which is important in terms of not only the Caribbean and the world, because Jamaica made an impact not only on the Caribbean, but the world. And when you had Marcus Garvey coming out of Jamaica, and then the brothers vibing to what was the struggle in their poetry, in their music, okay? And this made a difference. When Haile Selassie came here in April of 1966, and how the people turned out. It's like he's saying that all of this noise that I hear about the Rasta brothers and so forth, let me go to Jamaica and see for myself. And he was overwhelmed in April of 1966. But it was a cultural expression. It was coming out of slavery and what we had suffered under the hand of the British and how they wanted to confine and contain us. And it's called cultural imperialism. They wanted to make us as black people what they were. But there was a rejection, and that rejection you saw in the artist's expression, and especially coming from Jamaica. When Bob Marley, he introduced many of us to the word Zimbabwe. Many of them didn't know where Zimbabwe was, what it was, but he talked about things in the Buffalo Soldiers. We in America should have known what it was, but we didn't, but it came out of cultural expression.
Yeah. And we're celebrating today the birth date of Peter Tosh, and one of the first to sing about apartheid.
Right.
You know, and so that you're so right about the music. We do have to go for a break, and we know that you're quite busy, but for those persons who are still on their way, because we know many are coming now on their way, many haven't left home yet, what's your message to them?
My message is, it's a moment in history. To see Minister Farrakhan at 81 years old looking like he's 50 and still with the fire that he had from the time that he was a young Clipsonian singer in Boston until he accepted the Nation of Islam. Malcolm was his first teacher, and even to this very day, God has blessed him to impact the entire world, and he comes home to Jamaica, the home of his father, to bring that message. And so please don't seize this moment in history. Don't let other people tell you about it. Don't just listen to it on the radio, but come and let's pack this arena so you can say 20 years from now, I was there with Minister Louis Farrakhan. And thank you very much.
That's why I carried my daughter. She's just 7, but she's here because I want her to say later on, apart from experiencing this, I was there at the National Arena. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Minister. Oh, sorry. Minister Farrakhan is actually going to be coming in for 2 o'clock.
He's going to come in
for 2 o'clock, because he's not here.
2 o'clock. 2
All
o'clock.
right. We'll see a lot of members of the Nation of Islam, so we just want to know who's here and so on. And then he'll be speaking later on in the afternoon.
Let me mention that Gabby was here last night. He did a short show for us last night. We gathered together, and he's here, and he's going to do a performance before the minister goes.
That's Luciano.
And Luciano. Gabby.
Calypsonian.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a brother who thinks on his feet. He's
It's going to be brilliant. It is brilliant already. Come out and be part of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We just spoke with Akbar Muhammad, international representative of a nation of Islam. And all the while I felt I was talking to somebody like Alex Haley, because you sound so much like Alex Haley. They're like, whoa, yes.
I don't know if you have no time for just asking one something, huh? You have any time?
Yes.
All right. I don't know if you heard about the Muslim from Trinidad who was refused entry here. He said that he was invited by Mr. Farrakhan. I think I heard Mr. Farrakhan say he invited him.
Yeah, Minister Farrakhan invited many people across the Caribbean.
This man we're talking about.
Yeah, I know. Abu Bakr Yassin from Trinidad. Well, evidently some intelligence went out not to let him in. And I believe that Minister Farrakhan is going to address that today, so I will let the minister
say that. Okay, all right.
All right. Evidently, some intelligence went out not to let him in. We're journalists. We just
don't I need to the man.
No, I know. I'm an investigative journalist. I heard you.
I hear him too.
You want to?
Of course, I hear him.
So we heard that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Akbar Muhammad, international representative of the Nation of Islam, in the house with us. To our sales manager, Kareen. Hey, Kareen. Good morning. All right. So Dave Tosh, my brother, where's your microphone? Grab your microphone. Son of Peter Tosh. You notice that while we're talking to the members of the Nation of Islam, we had some real good security. What happened to the security?
Well, Rasta don't need security.
Not for you, Dave. For me. Dave, me like the security man in night.
What do you mean?
Why
Rasta don't need security?
Well, we're secure spiritually, so...
No.
Look here, Mota, stop the can, Dave, sir.
No, because I like him talking. Anyway, Brethren, seriously now, how Peter Tosh's birthday is so low-key this year?
Well, I don't know about the low-key way you're talking about. I know the family, I unanimously decide not to do an event this year for more reasons than one. But in essence, still things go on because the fact still remain and still Peter's birthday, and people still recognize the day as such. See, the only difference is that, like I say, there's not a real event going on like we generally do. But that not stop.
So why the thing it never go on this year? I mean, I don't choose to talk about it.
Well, it's not no feel for talk about it, but then you push me too far because me tell you, family make a unanimous decision.
I don't know what is the decision.
You do involve.
Okay, all right.
It's not unanimous, it's unanimous.
All right. Okay. Well, listen. All right.
It's an unanimous decision. What's the difference between unanimous and unanimous?
What is
it's between the family.
All right, okay, so you not involved.
No, you not involved. I involved.
Well, I involved.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're very happy to see you. Who are you here to? How many family members?
You know, Andrew come in with me, but him did have to leave here.
Okay.
Thing where my deal.
All right,
so.
Greetings, Andrew. But we know there's something happening still at the University of the West Indies tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Tomorrow?
Next Monday.
Oh, next Monday. All right, so we'll talk about it. Is it that? Next Monday, so we'll talk about it shortly. But, Dave, you know, a lot of people gathering here, but also for those listening on the airwaves. Peter Tosh, well celebrated in Jamaica in terms of being loved by so many people. We talk about the physical celebration. We see what happens when we celebrate Peter in February each year. And then recently we had the government's recognition at some level, which, you know, is very controversial in terms of whether or not Peter would have accepted it. I know that's what people have been saying. Yeah. But your own thoughts on how your father has been celebrated by Jamaica. What are your own thoughts on that?
Well, I don't see nothing bad about what is going on. I mean, it's probably more so, would say, on a family business standpoint, wherein perhaps enough is not being done or said in that regard or on our behalf. Yes, but what happened is we are young entity growing, which is about 5 years old, and for anything being 5 year old, even a child.
And when you say young entity, you're talking about the
business side, wherein we just put together things wherein we are taking control of ourselves and learning how to walk and learning how to talk and even if I make mistakes along the way. Peter himself do that several times, wherein I mean, even have to sing about it too. I had to pick myself up, dust myself off and start all over again.
So that the business side of things, five years old, why did it take so long to get the business side going?
Well, it's what they call all this trick in the book, divide and rule. Peter had several children or youths, and when you get to split the whole and keep it separated, then you get to do whatever you see occur over the years. However, I mean, determined, intelligent and diplomatic enough to understand the plight of what was going on and make whatever sacrifice need for make sure say, hey, the family do what it's supposed to do.
And so tell us a little bit about the organization itself now, because there are two arms, I understand, 2 prongs.
Yeah. Well, it's not really 2, it's going to be many and many more. I mean, it's Peter Tosh, it's worldwide. I mean, we talk about the response we get from Peter here even in Jamaica, but when you think about worldwide, places like Africa, where people cry out to me daily in Peter regard, I mean, it's actually like a portion, a significant percent of the continent of Peter make them alive today. Or a Peter guidance them a live by, or them words sound from them time.
This is another cater of members of the Nation of Islam. Just going back there, I'm telling that this is a busload. I mean, this is a really beautiful sight that's unfolding here at the National Arena. Look good. Right, Dave?
Yeah, man, definitely. Man.
Look good.
I set of people I respect from ever since, because being abroad, US one at a time, they happen to actually get aware of the Nation of Islam. So yes, we need fully aware of them, and I mean them positive and American front. I don't know what kind of positivity that will bring out of the people here in Jamaica. That is even one of the reasons why I'm coming, to see the type of turnout that Jamaican would make to an event like this. And it is not surprising to me that 99% of the Jamaican that is here is Rasta.
Not surprising.
Not surprising. And that is due to a lot of things. It has to do with...
Well, let us see how it unfolds, because I think we have a long way to go.
Yeah, and I don't think they're not coming in. Yeah, the percentage may increase, but
this is how you see it. Well, this is how it has been, right, Muta? In from the 80s.
Rasta, we could cross the conversation here. How was the bride, Bridget, Tosh, where Ralph used to keep me abreast of the trial where going, where you say him did get, him did get
released.
How the case are going, you know?
Actually, don't depend on top of that in a motor circuit, but I know it's still an open case in court, so pretty much I couldn't even discuss it even if I knew.
Okay. But we know that he's not, he's out.
He's out on bail and pending trial.
Okay. All right. I want to, before you go, to talk about the Peter Tosh Memorial Gardens. This is a new company?
Yeah, it's not really new. It's been there from ever since. It's just really taking shape and coming together as an entity, and that is where we're looking forward to structure this place as what it really is. It's really a tour destination that the world would like to come and visit, at least.
And this is
the birth and the final resting place of Peter.
But this is a massive place. What are the plans? So we hear the name Memorial Gardens. We know the mausoleum is there. We know that it's really a beautiful place. Are you keeping it rustic, or what are the plans for development?
Yeah, well, we'll try to keep it as natural as possible, because when we want to what would I like to see, it represent not just Peter, but it represent the man, it represent Rasta. Meaning the things them I would have a one pass through there one time. I look for me and say, Dave, you know, say, when I like a restaurant over here, but when I want to send a fried chicken over here, I mean, it says something to me, which is something me already know in the first place. But then it just reaffirm while they're already in my head. So the natural Rasta vibes, if it's when you come there, so is authentic. Hear them talk about real authentic Jamaican. We're talking about real authentic Rasta. That's what I say. So that is what we want to preserve this.
So that is on the way now. I mean, work on that.
Yeah, man. Work in progress.
The attraction would be, I mean, real authentic Rastafari.
Yeah. Besides, and besides making sure that we have Peter memorabilia, I mean, from near and far on display down there is my objective, and for me.
What happened to the M16?
It's safe.
The M16 guitar. Muta.
No, elaborate with the guitar and about it.
Yeah, well, the M16 from the last time. Definitely, most definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of part where we have to bring to the table in terms of making this the gigantic thing where it's supposed to be. So I don't plan to leave no stone unturned. Saying so, everyone will have to come to the table because me has take a claim.
Yes, definitely.
Well, we'll take a claim too, and we'll be there in February.
Definitely.
Right.
As usual.
Celebrating Peter, life and works and legacy. Muta.
Of course.
Big place. All right. Thank you very much, Dave Tosh.
Respect. Thanks for the time. No, it's a virgin. Just show me a piece of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man.
And
bless up for the time, yeah.
Give thanks, brother. Give thanks. Look here. So we did no idea we are touched because then so
wireless power.
Well. All right, so Peter Tosh Symposium, entitled Peter Tosh, Activist and Pan-Africanist, a focus on the man, the music, and the message. Featured panelists, Ras Miguel Lone, Eva Gordon, Taitu Heron, Dr. Clinton Hutton, Dr. Michael Barnett. And this will be on the 27th of October, no entry fee. And it's at 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., multifunctional room near the main library at the University of the West Indies. For more information, you can call 977-0315. That's 977-0315 for more on the Peter Tosh Symposium, which is going to take place on October 27 at the University of the West Indies. Now 9:48, coming to you live from the National Arena in Kingston, and it's on the occasion of the 19th anniversary of the Million Man March. It's a day of atonement. History man, get the memo to, History man, you got the memo about, say, if you come in full white? You will see the motor.
I don't care, I don't care.
All right. And so Black X has joined us walking. He's walking. And we're
from St. Mary.
From St. Mary.
Yes,
you're walking, right?
Yes.
Yeah, from St. Mary. And you're not walking alone. How many people walking this time?
All right. It was designated to be a team.
Right.
But it seems as if Chicky gonna rampant in Portmore. And it's like every other person seemed to be limping.
We're going to just see the councillor or the mayor or somebody on TV said St. Mary is not.
No, but you see that part there, Jamaica now, I get the people them problem. I tell the people them, not the people them. After the people them, tell the people them to clean up the place. Them say, I know mosquito cause it, so them not really need to clean up the place.
Oh.
No,
but St. Mary never says so.
If people have to tell you to clean up your surrounding because of mosquito, we should have clean it up with a mosquito or not.
Exactly.
Your mind in a serious state of total, because you're supposed to clean all the while.
That's the thing. And I was watching the cleanup thing on television where the Prime Minister was cleaning up in our constituency and the amount of junk and dirt and garbage. I could not believe. I'm saying then nobody don't live here, so.
No, Babsy Grange say them take 70 truckload of garbage from near Spanish Town High School. No, I don't know if she not telling lie, it's the most terrible government you ever have. So it's either she lying or the government is a nasty government. Believe me.
Make a move on because me no want to call it. No, I'm not calling it because you see, I cannot believe it. For me, it's interesting. So we have to take some responsibility in terms of how we dispose of our waste. We have to take some responsibility.
You want to go downtown in the night. You see all people at garbage they want to take up. All in front of Central Police Station. If you go down there any given night in front of Central Police Station, we don't know if it's protection there. The street people them look why them go sleep. But it's a disgrace to see people lie down in front of Central Police Station and the park we're supposed to be Sir William Grand Park. You want to see it for the night. You want to see it go down there in the night, go see that.
We're going to shift the gear. Because the chikungunya affect the team they're supposed to work.
Tacky team get gonorrhea. I mean, chikungunya.
Right, everybody asks about Guinean weed, you know? Yeah. So everybody suddenly want to get some protection the other from the Guineans.
So Guinean weed is?
Yeah, so circle. But I have been affected. I don't know the reason why, but...
Well, you have to work. So here you are on behalf of Chief Taki.
Yes.
You know, in Ghana, the name Taki exists, but it's not pronounced Taki, and it's not spelled Tacky, but Takyi or Takyii, and so to the name Sachi, Sakyii, so that it will be Tachi or Sachi.
Yes.
You know, so that at some point we have to call our chief
properly.
Yes. So we said Chief Tachi. But sometimes we have to say Taki so the people don't know who we are saying. Everything Taki.
Right.
So describe to me now what the chains that are around him, my brother.
The chain is depict the era in which the chief lived. And when I'm on a walk or I'm on stage, I want to just see the era.
Okay.
Remember.
Okay.
Right? This is the era. Never forget it.
Right. So
never forget it, because if I forget it, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren might end up there.
Yes. So you're walking especially for what? Remind us.
All right. This is the 100th anniversary of Marcus Garvey farming the UNI at 27 years old. And I'm very disappointed at how our officials treat it. It's just like, really, I don't know. And we start to feel that way about it, because based on the impact which that great mind has influenced the world, deserve a lot more. But me and them not think the same way. So
at 27
years old.
How much year old Sam Sharp was when them kill him? I'm 20.
20.
So who are the young people them understand where I go on, you know? That 20-year-old man decide the course of Jamaican history. It's not 50-year-old, 60-year-old. Old people like me and Kabuya. So it's some 20-year-old youth decide the course of Jamaican history. Marcus Garvey at 27.
27.
Sam Sharp did that in his 20s.
Yes.
You know how long Taki lived?
He would have been in his 20s.
Oh, so I want the people them understand where I go on. I want the people them understand what is going on.
Right, so too many of our young 20-odd-year-old boys are wearing tight jeans.
I get the feeling that we're kind of being over-schooled and under-thinking.
Yes. You're very right. It's something that we'll have to pick up on shortly.
Right.
So that, where are you walking from?
The Taki Monument in Port Mara. We always start based from the chief monument.
All right, which direction are you walking now?
Going down to the Children Monument.
No, you walk through the junction.
Through the junction.
So when you started out?
I started out 6 o'clock yesterday.
Yesterday?
Right.
And when you get to Kingston?
I got into Kingston at about 5:30 or 5:15 thereabout.
Oh, man, love this way you're walking up. All right, so you head from the junction, come down through Manor Park.
No, I never take. I came down halfway Tree Road.
Oh, okay.
And then go up to Chifalga Road and just come here, because it was to go straight. But when
you walk from a junction and reach halfway through without going through.
Drive through Stone Hill, man. Walk through Stone Hill, Golden Spring, That's all?
Yeah, man.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, man. St. Mary Junction.
If you go...
St. Mary Junction.
Right. We know.
Come through.
No, that's what I say, Manor Park.
Yeah.
If you come down through Manor Park.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. And
so it was to go straight there and then rest a while and go straight back to finish on Heroes Day.
Okay.
But when I got winds that this was happening, I could not miss the opportunity to pay a tribute and show my respect.
Brilliant, my brother. And remind people why you have been walking all these years.
Taki deserve to be a national hero.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree.
Without doubt. And as the years unfold, we see more and more how clear it is. And also, today is Peter Tosh's birthday. And Muta, many times we have been paying tribute to Peter Tosh, one way or the other. So I would not miss this opportunity to acknowledge the birthday of Peter Tosh.
Well, we're very happy to see you, my brother. And, thanks for keeping that walk going. Yeah. Regardless of how you're doing, because you do more than walk, you're also a very integral part of organizing the celebrations for Chief Tachi up in St. Mary every year. So brilliant work.
Yes.
Brilliant
and
work.
what I give thanks to Jamaica Beverages, give us some sponsor, and also the chief team, Jacqueline Samuels, put some new energy, new life. Arthur, big up yourself. Everybody, the move is on. We keep rolling, we keep rolling, we keep rolling.
You keep watching, my brother.
I tell you the truth, I love the Ira Star.
Give thanks most.
Yeah, because if you continue that over the years as a loner, love the Ira for that.
Well, along with a sister and another team,
Puppy Stepper,
right?
2 years, 2 weeks for the eyes to open.
2 weeks?
2 weeks, sometimes
just born,
spiritually.
Anybody want
thing? Us eyes take a little bit longer than that. So we have to persevere.
Yeah, but give thanks.
Give thanks.
Yeah, we want the people them to know.
What is sister?
Jackie Muna.
Oh, Chicken Guna.
We want the people them to know that.
Good, my brother.
Those who are not here and those who don't intend to come, trust me. You see, if you don't come to this celebration here, you're not going to understand the visual impact that this going to have. Not a visual impact, because I know that we who know and travel all over the place have seen Nation of Islam gatherings before, but this is the first time Jamaican people will ever see anything like this in Jamaica. And trust me, you don't want to stand up out there and make somebody tell you upon the television say, I saw.
Yeah.
This is going to be the most visual thing that has ever happened in Jamaica when it concerns black people.
Yes. Yeah. And that is why we're saying it's not too late to carry the entire family. Carry the family so that the family can experience this, come with the children and experience this. Because as Muta said, this is what you see on TV, really. You see this on TV, and you don't see it on TV being filmed in Jamaica. You see it on TV because you're watching it coming from another country. Yeah. But it's unfolding live right here in Jamaica at the National Arena. And it is really just, if it's just a visual stress is one thing, but really a brilliant and a beautiful sight in terms of the members of the Nation of Islam and those who have gathered here at the National Arena for this event that's going to be kicking off shortly. We're wrapping up our broadcast, our live broadcast, and we just want to say hello and good morning to some of the folks who are standing by before we do. Good morning, brother.
Morning, Sister Angie, Kabu. My name is Stafford McIntosh, visiting from Salt Springs, St. James.
All right, thank you very much. Let me just go over here. Good morning.
Rastafari. So this is Sabatu that come to represent the power of the people. And I want to hear everyone right here say power to the people.
Morning, Jakua.
Yes, Mummy, give thanks. Want to say respect to all our people who gather for this Million Man March.
Yes, respect. Michael Barnett here, representing Peter Tosh and also the Million Man March. It's a historic day.
Yeah, Andrew William, good morning. And good morning to Coburn Garden, Cockburn 1012 Marston Avenue. All of the people in Jamaica come down here. It's a lovely sight.
Yes, thanks. Good morning to Miss Andrew William. As usual, I'm telling about by stadium. So I'm right here back with them in the team of him. That's English speaking.
Yes, good morning. RFM team, you don't know, True Life represent from Ochi to Portmore. Come to see the minister. Yeah.
Good morning, this is John Marshall representing Spanish Town.
Good morning, this is Asbury representing Blue Mountain Peak.
Good morning, this is Yangi from New York representing Jamaica all over.
Good morning to Andrea Williams and Mutabaruka. I'm thankful for the work that you're all doing.
Where are you coming from?
I'm Sister Lorna, sister.
She's
from 12 Mars Avenue.
Okay. Yeah, man, this is Stampede. I'm want all the people come listen to the great Farrakhan sing.
Gary Richards, big up Portland Cottage, Clarendon. Blessed love to the nation. This is Ayamelts, and it's a blessing to see the nation come together. Blessed love, this is Fendi Comfortable representing Mountain View at the Royal and Regal Islamic Celebration live at the National Arena. Come on.
Me know why you say Royal and Regal, you look at the ladies, don't that look good, Fendi? Tell the people why them have to come to that.
Come out, all dressed in white, celebrating the nation of Islam, and me I tell you this event is certified comfortable.
Congratulations to the nation of Islam.
Where from, my brother?
From Detroit, Michigan.
There you go, welcome.
This is Elvis from Flatbridge. Welcome, everybody.
President of the United States of Africa, the most right honorable and adored prophet, priest, and king, Dr. Ras, the Lion Emperor, Upton Eric Blake, one love.
Give thanks, my brother.
Blessed, Bongo Herman. All are you supposed to be at the National Arena now to see this great brethren, Mr. Farrakhan. He's doing a wonderful work. IRFM doing a wonderful work.
Bongo, over there, sir. Tell me what you say about this. Look at them, lady. Don't that look beautiful?
They're beautiful. Oh, gosh.
They look like all them represent angels, but you know, black people.
It reminds me of John C. them coming robed in white.
Oh, Lord, man. Oh, Lord, man.
Blessings, Mama Tendai.
You got the memo, you know, Tendai. You got the memo. Get the memo.
Baba Taibika here.
Oh, greetings, my brother.
Aisha Mecca here.
Greetings.
Blessed love to Jamaica, all over the world, Montego Bay, Anova. I am Claudia Thanks to otherwise called Sandy. I'm a representative from the GR, Giving Initiative Alternative, and I'm here in Kingston right now, the National Arena, and I would love everybody out there to come and see what's going on with the getting together with Farrakhan and the whole nation of Islam.
We have to cut that, man.
National Arena, and I would love everybody out there to come and see what's going on with the getting together with Farrakhan and the whole nation of Islam.
We have to cut that, my sister. Lots and lots. Let me just go to this brother. Let me go to this. Morning, my brother.
Salamte.
Where you from?
I'm from Port Morant, representing the Port Morant community. I'm representing the Lion of Judah Prevail House from Bristol, England.
Good. We don't have much time, but welcome.
Good morning, Mr. President. This is Jatira from Central Village. Come out and see what's going on.
Good morning, this is Damon from Halfway 3 area.
All right, we can't go through everybody, but Muta, nice the crowd gathering, and the ladies are beautiful, Muta. Look at the sun, yes. This is like how the angels are represented in the books, but it's just that they're black. You normally just them white, don't it?
Yeah. It's a wonderful sight.
It is.
Wonderful sight.
It is.
What time we have here now?
We don't have much, but we're over the time, but you want to wrap up?
Hold on, Birtrhday, it's the first time I come to Jamaica.
No, I've been here. I've been coming since 2000 where we represent G Incorporated. We go to Flanker School right now. We're looking for men and women to volunteer.
At Flanker School?
Yes, we have a mentor program, boys to men and girls to women. We need volunteers to come every Thursday. We meet there at 2 o'clock. So we
Flanker School.
Flanker School, and also in Orange Bay, Churchill School, Logwood School. We need help. We need the men and women.
All right, I'm glad to talk to you if you get to promote that still. That's a wonderful promotion there for that.
Yes,
okay, so I don't know.
Right, thank you so much to the entire broadcast team who made this possible. Thanks to producer Joy Morgan, to our engineers on the ground, Ricardo Powell, Irvin Dwyer, thank you so much. In studio, Shane Clark and Errington Roberts Cuban. To my co-host, Mr. Mutabaruka, thank you as usual, sir.
Good afternoon.
Same to you, sir. And to all those who came out to the National Arena and those who continue to come, the grounds now literally overflowing. People are coming in from all over. And the members of the Nation of Islam are here in their thousands. And remember, we said thousands, not hundreds. Here in their thousands. If you missed us today, You're going to regret it. So be here for this. It's a brilliant, beautiful sight. Turning it over now to Mr. Big A in the studio inside of his Sunday Sunshine. My name is Karbuma at Kiru. See you next week. Walk good. Tell him other one.
Yeah, man, this is Clive, a.k.a. Chris Zogo, you know. One, you can give me a minute to make a talk to your listeners, them. Yeah, man, this, I talk to Muta listeners from Jamaica, US, Britain, and the world, you know. Especially the one them with on YouTube and BOBS and Roman channel. You know, for over 20 years, Muta, I highlight problem them and I get solution. But, you know, I feel black people, but Muta alone can't do it alone, you know. But all we do, as them listening, we do, we talk and we complain amongst ourselves and pass blame and we the government, white man, rich man, and Jah and Jesus to solve them. Black people, if you know, say, and a responsibility, so other people solve them problem, you know. As you know, say, the man we have been put by his neck, now take it off and let you lick it off and pump him in the face and step in a thing short. Government has do good, you know. Because you see them a drive Pajero and the regular artists, them alright, because them don't make it. And you see them a pop champagne, flat BMW, and a be a big mansion, but, you know, them not be no factory for employ, you know. The problem that I face working and poor class don't affect them. I can't believe how fool on be, you know, they wait for same people who cause the problem to fix it. We complain about foreigner buy up Jamaica, but instead we buy up Jamaica, we buy up foreign goods. You know where nothing said then get the money from. I see your money when you buy them goods then use back and come buy up Jamaica to use against you. We complain about Monsanto, but we shop at the supermarket all the time. And we don't even try to create our own supermarket that we sell our own organic food. So we leave it up to them to solve our problem with them create. Marcus Garvey said, if we can't do what other races do, you know, we don't deserve to die. And that is exactly what happened to me right now. If we can't own the wholesale like the Chinaman, we don't deserve to stay poor and jobless. If we can't own the multinational like the white man, we stay at the bottom of the political and economic system and big IMF. We can't own the big farm like Monsanto. We deserve to die from cancer and death of famine. Muta give you no solution to the problem. But Muta, you alone don't have the money to solve the big problem, yeah. So if we put the money together, we can create the big man, big corporation, or big business that will represent our interests and agenda to work to solve our problem. I say, me don't say already, you know, if 1,000 Muta listeners put $1,000 US, that's $1 million US, 100 million Jamaica can set a foundation, start a business. We are going to invest in building and expanding black business like farm, supermarket, car creator, transportation, etc., which will provide wealth and jobs amongst our own by ourselves. Talking and complaining is good, you know, because they highlight the problem. But it's time to build business and structure to solve the problem that we complain about so much. Every race have them structures set up. That is why you can see Chinese come from China, set up shop, and stock it out with all Chinese need. All a black man know to do is just be a buyer. You can't even blame the Chinese, you know, because you're not doing it for yourself anyways. My solution, I know the be all and all, but it's one thing that is in your power to do and can create a system that will outlast us all alive now, you know. Muta is the only man in Jamaica I feel that is trustworthy. That is why I'm willing to invest $1,000 US in him to set up a business to build our system. There must be at least, you know, 1,000 of him listeners who believe in real self-reliance. If not, I guess black Jamaican is doomed to want to be beggars. $1,000, I don't know, you know, why? Because, you know, Jamaicans spend more than that on ganja, liquor, bleaching cream, clothes and car and big house, etc. In overconsumption. If you don't have 1,000, then you know what? Can get 10 people to join you as one then. So I want all the serious Muta listeners them to email muta@irfm.net. Call up and tell them say, oh, you're ready to invest in him to build your phone system. So that me want to the people in Muta.
Blessed man, give thanks. That's so serious.